your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Wanna be all saints, trying hard to be someone else. All we want is please, giving us, giving no time to breathe. This is our identity. We turn our backs, we can't help, we're gone. This is our identity. There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been finding ways to get away, to see you again, see you again.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Stones Live. I know we say that a lot. I know we say that they're always very special editions. This is JFK Stones already trying to yell in our ear before we even start. I love it. No, so tonight I believe is a 5-10-25 game?
5-10-20, I thought. But
all of the above. Well, with these guys, I mean, the limit again. Yeah, the limits. More of a suggestion. We play like 10-20. They're like, how about a live 50? I mean, you guys know how it goes.
It's going to be huge.
I'm Justin Kelly, along with the one and only Pokemon, Miss Kasey Mills.
Hey!
In the house. Super looking forward tonight. Our first full official show.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this for a while.
Very
Mr.
cool.
Train is my favorite in the booth. His bootiness is my favorite.
Don't tell Veronica
I've already told Veronica that. So I've been excited to be in the booth with them, and tonight's the night.
I'm super stoked. I know we have a lineup of some crushers out there. I have the list of the players. Let's walk down to the table and start getting around. See what we got down here. Seat 1, we have Jim O. Now, I'm not familiar with Jim O. Have you played with Jim O before?
You know, maybe once or twice. His face looks a little familiar to me, but not a lot.
Well, he definitely wins a beard award. He could definitely give Jake a good challenge with the beard here. So I don't know if this is Jim O's first time on the stream, but he looks relatively new to the stream for sure. Let's cruise around to his left. A staple that's been on the stream for quite some time here, Mr. Bear Hat Aaron, and I like how the Bear Hat story is now just part of his name.
Yeah, and I know Bear Hat. He's always here.
Yeah. I love it's just incorporated now. It's just like, oh, that's Bear Hat Aaron.
Yeah,
duh.
Of course.
Doesn't everybody know? Sweet. So he looks like he's sitting here pretty healthy, I think. Now to his left, a resident crusher, Adam. Now you've played a decent amount with Adam, right?
I have, yeah, and I was actually talking to Adam before the stream started, and he definitely is a crusher. He's huge. He plays super well, and I see him play different styles depending on what stream and the player lineup that he's against. So I'm looking forward to seeing which Adam shows up tonight.
Yeah. Adam has just been a staple on the stream lately. Pretty much, he doesn't care what limit he's in. He's just like, let's do it.
I'm in.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so to his left we have Anthony, and again, I'm not even used to these fresh avatars. Now we're doing nightly avatars, and normally I see the one he's had forever with, like, normally his bandana on. So yeah, I like Anthony. He's another crusher. Even when you don't see him on the stream, he's always on the list to like get on the stream and get on the table.
Yeah, and he also always has some sort of headband going on. That's his staple look. He's rocking the thick band tonight.
Nice. Now directly to his left here we have EAD. Now I believe we've seen him on the stream before. Have you played with him before?
Yeah, I believe his name is actually Dan.
Okay.
I believe, and I have played with him. He's actually an excellent player. I don't know if he would love me to give away too many of his secrets, but I think think he ran very deep in the main this last year, and he's an exceptional player.
Awesome. I like it. Another crusher, a table full of crushers. Speaking of crusher, it's Peter. Now, normally we like to do a prop bet on when Peter gets a salad, but it looks like he's already munching on something over there, so we might already be a little late to the prop bet. Peter, an all-around nice guy, generally a little bit on the tighter side, but he also lately has been exploiting that and starting to just open up and make bluffs where they're like, oh, Peter would never bluff here, and he's getting through. So
that's the great thing about creating that image for yourself, is you get to use it to your advantage when you decide to open up.
Yeah, so I really like Peter. He's a good dude. And then of course Zach from Sac, Veronica's bestie crush.
Yes.
Right. I love it. One of my favorite things is a bunch of poker players got together and like doctored up a winning lottery ticket when it was real huge, and they all filmed secretly as they handed him the stack of lottery tickets, like they all went on a lottery pool, and he thought he won, and his reaction was so priceless. I mean, talk about a slow roll going from here to like, oh my god, my life has changed forever, back to here again. Ouch.
If anyone ever does that to me, we are not cool.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Again.
That's rough.
Never cool.
It's either your best friend or your worst friend who would do that. Brian S. here, directly to his left. God, a table full of crushers indeed. Brian just comes into town, crushes people's hopes and dreams, takes all their money, and then he's like, I'll see you when I see you.
Where are the whales?
Yeah, I know, right? This is all sharks. Let's go out here. And last but certainly not least, JD, another crusher. Definitely not afraid to mix it up. I've seen JD take some wicked beats and really make some pretty sick moves, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. I haven't seen too much of JD, so I look forward to watching his play.
Absolutely. Looks like we got PD in the dealer box here. Yeah, I am super looking forward. What fun promos do we have coming up here? Let's see. I know we got the Quantum coming up here in April. End of April, guys. If you guys haven't heard about it yet, do it. The Quantum here, I'll hold it to the side. Boom. The Quantum tournament is rad, 100K guaranteed, multiple different buy-in flights where, for instance, you're always going to come in. So 120 is going to get you 10K in chips, or 240 on some of the later flights will actually get you 20K in chips. Then there's even a direct day 2 buy-in for 900 that gets you a crap ton of chips, gets you a chip average at least, which is 100,000 in chips. And you know what's crazy about this? Last time we did the Quantum, I thought we were going to have, I don't know, how many people are really going to buy for 900, you know, the next day. I thought there was going to be maybe 20. We ended up getting 50.
Wow.
50 day 2 buy-ins for 900 a whack. So always a crusher. The Quantum's
interesting format. I love that we come up with fun ways to do different tournaments. I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to buy in for an average stack on day 2? I mean, I love that.
Yeah, and so this is similar, almost similar to with the buy-ins increasing to when we did the chip amplifier. And my strategy with that is I always buy in at the smallest level. Feel why not, right? And you never know, if you run good and you get that come up, then just go with it. Otherwise, you bust out, buy in for the big stack, and come back and do it all over again.
Exactly.
So looks like we're already in a board here. Check it out. Jack 10 versus King Jack. King on the board. Straight draw for Adam here. Anthony with the best.
And now Anthony and Adam play together a lot. So it's always interesting to see these players who play so many hours against each other, see how they try to out-Yoda each other. Like, just thinking about the next person's possibilities, their hand ranges. It becomes so much more complex, in my opinion, than when you're playing just with a standard person that you haven't played with before.
Oh, absolutely. When you have a lot of history, it's okay. It's one of those things where you know what they're capable of. You've seen them make weird moves in weird spots, and you almost have to level yourself. You're like, do they know that I know that they know?
Exactly.
And you're like, oh.
I love that.
And so it's one of those things where when you see a player really tanking and he's just sitting there for like 2 minutes, like that's what he's thinking about. He's thinking about all that crap, all the history, how the whole hand played out, and yeah, you're just weighing all that together and then making your decision. It's not like, okay, I'm just Hollywooding for the camera.
Exactly. They really have a lot to think about all that in history, exactly like you were saying. And it looks like Adam took the hand down there.
Yeah, Adam turned a 9 for open-ended, I believe. So he's hitting pretty solid.
Now we are in our new booth tonight. It is beautiful.
Awesome.
We'll put a lot of work into this. It looks just great for what I get to see, and it's really helping with the sound as well. So you guys get some benefits, and we get the benefits also.
Yeah, the new booth is in here already, guys, which is the huge step, and now we're going to start making some tweaks over time. So let us know, holler in the chat, give us your opinion on if you guys see a difference, hear a difference, all the above. And yeah, we got some really good stuff coming down the pipe.
Now we've got a new hand developing here. We've got 2 bear hat Aaron with ace queen of hearts in the small blind. Yeah. So he's gonna Ryan S actually raised with 7-4 of hearts to 80, and of course bear hat had an easy call there. We also have JD in with king deuce of diamonds. He doesn't have much, but we did come out with a 2-heart board, so this could get really interesting.
Nasty.
Brian also hit a mid pair to go along with his flush draw. What he doesn't know is that he does not want to hit that flush because things are going to get really
huge
wild.
Instant quick raise by Bear Hat here. 130 by Brian. So Bear Hat check raises Brian 130 to about 600, something like that. It's really tough when you have a pair and a flush draw to get away. The problem is he has to put Bear Hat here on a higher flush draw to get away. That's it.
Right, and it's hard to put him on a higher flush draw because many flush draws in this position would just call to try to see if they hit their flush on the turn. But he does have 2 overs to the board as well to go along with his hard draw, so he wants to put the raise in right here. I can't.
Oh my God! Look at this! Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
He's got 2 pair to go along with his hard draw.
Guys, this is how we start the stream here. Welcome to Stones Live, right here, straight up. This is so sick. And he doesn't have enough to get him to go anywhere. He's only got 170. The pot's already at like 1,600.
So Brian's definitely snap calling here. And then the question is, are they going to run it more than once, or are they just going to do one time?
Wow. Wow. And he fills up on the river with another 4.
Wow.
Holy jeez.
Looks like they did just run it once.
Did you hear Adam there? He said, when did you like your hand, Brian? He's like, I don't know, the turn.
Wow. Sickness, that's how we like to deal them up.
Absolutely.
Love it.
When did you like your hand, Brian? Pretty much the entire time, including when I raised pre-flop with 7-4 suited. That's when I liked my hands.
Now, our players can buy in for however much they want, and we see the stacks vary pretty widely. Adam looks like he bought in for 10K, and a lot of players buying in for around 3K. You really can choose. Most players are going to choose somewhere between 1 and 10K, but as soon as somebody makes some money and there's extra money on the table, you can just match the largest stack at the table. So at any point, someone can match Adam's 10K, 10.4K stack right now, and it will keep getting larger and larger.
Absolutely, and I love Adam. He's super sneaky, and I'll tell you why. The other night in Wednesday's 5-5 stream, every time Moneymaker was winning a pot around him, every time another player would win a pot around him and basically set a new chip high, he would instantly add on. Like he was super on the DL too, because I looked over and Adam hadn't played a hand in like an hour, but his chip stack like tripled in size.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, ooh, you sneaky devil, because trust me, Adam's the type of skilled player that when he does get one of those perfect setup hands, he wants to get maximum value. So he always wants to be able to pretty much match what anybody else has on the table.
Absolutely, yeah. And the same thing with Moneymaker. That game that I was in with Moneymaker, it was a 1-3 game that got huge really quick, and Moneymaker was actually stuck, but you could not tell the stack because it was just mountains. He was definitely adding to the largest amount that he possibly could, because if you have an edge on your opponents, that's what you should be doing. So whenever you get them in a good spot, you can stack them.
Absolutely. So battle of the jack kickers here. Not a lot going on here. Both players check the flop. AD fires 100 on the turn, and that's going to get through. JD lets it go. Yeah, it's one of those things where I've been there. We've all been in those games where we get super stuck or we keep adding on, and then you go out to the cades and you're cashing out like 5 or 6K, and somebody's like, "Nice job," and you're like, "I paid for these. I'm down like $42 right now. I'm stuck like $40."
Yes, of course, it happens.
Seattle Moss, hey, thanks for tuning in. Says, hey, thank goodness it's Friday Stones. Booth looks good, but audio still a tad hot when watching on Apple TV. I know the audio, we have some tweaks for that coming down the line here. We have to get a little creative in how we're going to do it, but I think you guys are going to like it.
Yeah, so this is just the beginning. They got this up in like one day, and it's absolutely beautiful. It looks fantastic. But again, there are a few things that we are going to be adding in that'll definitely are going to improve it. This is our first rollout. It's pretty exceptional. But yeah, let's say hi to some people in chat. We've got Mr. Matt Nichols.
Who wins the award for first person I think I saw over there in YouTube saying what up. Mr. Matt Nichols in the house.
Yes, and B.O. Kalen.
Yeah.
Hey. Of course, Mr. Moss, I gotta say hi to you. What's up? And you know what? Fishing Poker, BJ Fishing Poker, hey-o.
Getting through. I like it. It's what did I see? I saw somebody post. For those of you who are anywhere local, California's been a bit of a crazy hair in the weather department lately.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And somebody posted. Who was it? I think somebody who worked here actually posted on their Facebook that said Mother Nature challenges like, oh yeah, here, let's try to hit all the seasons in 1 week. And California's like, here, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's been nuts and tons of snow and for people go to Tahoe. There's like great skiing right now and sledding and.
Let me give you like 75-degree like warm weather and give you like a taste of what might be, and then just dump hail, rain, snow on you. You know, let's snow in Sacramento once every like 6 years. Why not?
And next week it's going to be 85.
My friend says this is the new booth. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shoot a picture to our production guys here and see if I can actually get a picture of the booth flashed up on the screen here for you.
Great idea.
Because I know that for you guys it looks exactly the same, but for us it's a huge difference. I don't even know if we have a before picture, but I don't really think it matters at this point. Because it looks great now. Let's see. That. All right. Threes versus Ace-6. Ace-6 misses here. Three's still in the lead. See, this is what happens when Moneymaker gets in the house. Everybody goes ninja and starts taking selfies like that. See, you can tell what a mean dude Moneymaker is when people. And you know what's great? After he finished crushing this game and cashed out, I don't know, like a 10K in the 1-3 the other night, he sits down in the 1-2 over there, and everybody's just like ecstatic to play with him. They're like, "Am I playing 1-2 with Chris Moneymaker right now?" Yeah.
Yes.
He loves Stones.
Yeah. Sometimes it's going to be Lon McCarran. Sometimes it's going to be Moneymaker.
It's rough here in Sacramento.
Little Jonathan Little every now and again. We've got the Vloggers Week coming up. We're going to have Andrew Nemi here. We'll see if we can get them to do a little drone action. Who knows what's going to happen next? It's Stones, people. It's always lively.
It's true. That's why we call it Stones Live.
What's up, Magic Man? I'd
here.
love to play with you again. I really enjoyed it.
Cool, I just shot it. Kid.
So we've got Jimmo from Under the Gun +1. He raises to 65. It's going to be, let's see, Peter K's got kings. So let's see if he goes ahead and puts in a 3-bet here, or if he just calls. He 3-bets to 225. Now, Jimmo just has a pretty weak ace here. I like that he came in for a raise. If you're going to play that hand, you need to be raising with it. But now facing a 3-bet, it's a little bit harder of a call because you're either facing a bigger ace than you or possibly a paired hand like what he has now. And he does decide to go ahead and make the call. He is up against the small blind, so he does have position on Peter. But of course, we know Peter has a monster hand here. And that board is not helping Jimmo at all. No diamonds anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, completely dry board. Whiff City all the way for Jim. No even really redraw potential here. He's in Runner world. It's funny, I actually thought, we make a long-standing joke about kings being no good here on Stones. I almost thought for sure there's no way kings are good here. I'm like, oh, here comes an ace and 2 diamonds on the flop, because why not?
Occasionally, kings do hold up here on Stones. Occasionally.
We let the real math work out. Oh, sometimes, okay, guys, sometimes here.
And he takes it down with a bet.
Yeah.
A turn there.
I love it, man. Nichols says, hey, shout out. If the cards are running back, come out dancing. That was more for Kasey than Justin.
I love to dance.
That's it. There you go. Done deal. Done deal. Dance and karaoke. In the house.
You don't want to hear my karaoke, but I will go get down with the karaoke.
Here, cheers. I'll take your word for it. It's good.
Cheers.
Bam.
Bam.
Stones Live, new booth. Guys, this is how big time we are now. We have a door. We have a door in our booth. It's got hinges. It opens.
A lock.
It's amazing.
We can lock anyone out that we want to.
Oh man, when they're telling us to be quiet, we're in trouble.
Are we disturbing the table?
Yeah.
Oh no.
They didn't warn the players that they were going to have to listen to me and you the whole time when they sat here at table 1.
not a lot working for anybody. A lot of junk hands so far. So we got Brian S with aces.
Yeah,
everybody's
to go with all
got
those
junk,
junk
and
hands.
Brian's got aces. In the big blind, mind you.
Suited aces says lock the
He
door.
raises to 85. It's gonna get a fold, and he's just gonna take it down pre.
Brian's gonna rep. He's like, guys, remember that when I make it 85, aces every time.
Right.
It's going down.
Yeah, it is. Oh, there it is. There's the beautiful new booth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Insert Disney
This is
music
why
here.
you don't want me to do karaoke.
Come on, I actually knew where that was from, actually, so that was pretty impressive, Little Mermaid, all right? That's pretty solid.
Of course, standard. Just what's been in our head repeated.
It was either that or like the Lion King, Sabenya, one of those,
It's
right?
gonna be the Little Mermaid
okay,
for
yeah,
me,
just
for sure.
checking.
We're
Cool.
gonna, yeah. And so we've had kings and then aces. What are we gonna have this time?
Magic Man says, wow, nice. Suited Aces says, dang, Stones is moving on up. Holy smokes by Matt Nichols. My friend says, you guys are the best. We do it for you. Seriously, you viewers are awesome. I see all of these familiar faces and screen names in here on the regular.
What's up, Jumpman? Suited aces?
And now aces for
My
Zach.
friend says, oh, aces again.
Aces are getting around.
Like it.
Oh, an ace king for Jimmo.
This is going to get interesting because I saw Jimmo called a pretty large 3-bet with ace-3 suited.
Yeah.
And so I don't, he's not
he's
one who
3-betting.
likes
Yeah.
to fold easily. So he's 3-betting to 225. Let's see what Zach decides to do, if he's going to call or if he's going to go ahead and give him the bad news right now.
Looks like he's going to say, ship this for news.
Oh, he does go ahead and raise, but looks like he does
600 maybe?
just like almost a min raise. Or no, it's about 2x.
Like, yeah, 2.5x or something, right? Was
Yeah.
it 500-600, something like that? I did see Godzilla subscribe there on Twitch.
What's up,
Follow us
Flat
on Twitch. You're awesome. Thank you very much.
And Dondo, good to see you in the chat as always.
I love it. Our good split cam in the tank here. Now, it's, Ace King is one of those hands where, like, for me, let's talk about Ace King in, like, cash first tournament. In a tournament, it's one of those things where, like, Ace King is like, okay, the blinds are getting big, my stack isn't the healthiest. Like, Ace King is the hand I'm looking to ship it in on. In a deep stacked cash game, I mean, Ace King is still just high card, guys. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not trying to necessarily, like, okay, well, let me just ship off 5K and hope I'm good.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. It's not a made hand.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not made with Ace King. We love it. We love to get it, but you don't need to go absolutely crazy with it.
Queen, where are we going? Oh, Queen A3. All right. See, and this is one of those things where it's funny because you'll see a board like this when you have Ace King and you shipped it all in pre, and the other guy's got like pocket nines or something. You're thinking like, crap, I either could have bet him off the flop or he could have got me off the flop, and I wouldn't have had to dedicate like all my entire chip stack to this hand if we just would have seen a flop. So now at least Jimmo has the potential to get away if he gives that credit.
Check. Yeah, he does check.
And that's a great flop for Zach, especially because he has Ace of Spades redraw as a backup if 2 more spades want to peel. I mean, he's got all but a complete lock on this hand here. Jimmo would pretty much literally need running kings or 10-jack.
I don't know how much history Jim O and Zach have. I've played with Zach a little bit, and I know he is definitely capable of some bluffy spots, but I don't really see him doing a 4-bet like he did there without something, especially when he's continuing now for a large amount. So Jim O's got to be pretty suspicious here, and he is going to lay it down.
Absolutely. That's one of those things where obviously Zach's not going to show you, but that they're on the stream. Look, and even Jim, see, and I've done this before too. Jim is looking at Zach because we've all seen, because players have their poker face, right? But what you want to pay attention to is the face after they actually get the pot, right? If they have that look like, oh my god, crap, I'm so glad he didn't call, or like, shit, I should have got value there, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, and you saw him, he was staring him down. The second after he folded, he was just like watching him drag the pot.
Yeah.
It's just one of those little things, whatever little micro edges you can gain.
And I so enjoyed playing with you, Watt Bride. That was really fun as well. He was also in our Moneymaker game. He was the brie cheese.
And Watt Bright in the house. Yeah, the food game, right?
Yeah. I was Big Dill.
Yeah, she's kind of a big deal, guys. Kind of a big deal. It's solid. There's a, you hear that? There's a list of people trying to get in this game. Everybody wants in this game.
I want in this game.
I don't know. Yeah, you are on the list, right?
I didn't know. I actually am not on the list yet, but once we get a little bit later in, I'll put my name on because I want to play as soon as.
I was like, because these guys are crushers. They might be here for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely might be here. These are the guys who like to rebuy.
Right. They have some deep pockets, and they're not afraid.
Well, they're like, well, I got stuck $5,000, so how am I going to get it back? I'm going to put in at least another $5,000, guys. All right, so we do have a 3-bet with Ace King by JD here. It looks like he's going to get looked up by ED and Brian. Jack high board here. Wow, everybody just whiffing it. Ace King in the lead here. Pretty dry board. Jack 3-4 rainbow. JD, I'm not surprised to see a continuation bet for sure here.
What's up, Miss B in the chat? Good to see you. I just finished watching your snaps when you were in the middle of California, and it was a little bit...
Smelled so delicious.
Stinky?
Yep.
Got me a good laugh out of that one.
A buddy of mine used to give me, he's like, yeah, just drive until it smells like absolute horrible cow crap, and then take a left.
Then you're in Baker.
There it is. There it is. Perfect. All right, there you go. So guys, if it's your first time tuning in, take a look around at the table. Those chip denominations, red chips are $5, green chips are 25s, white chips are hundreds, and I believe we have a couple oversized beastie yellow chips. I think Zach has some there. Those are thousands, and I don't, if we see any 500s in play, those are also a little bit oversized. Those are like purple.
Purple. Yeah. Purple 500s, yellow 1000s. So you've arrived in LA, it looks like. She says it smells better in LA.
Oof.
Smog better than cow manure, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna go outside, get some smog. Zach from Sac getting it with queens here. Looking at
a lot of big pairs.
Yeah, right. And lots of pairs, lots of ace king. So EAD pops to 75. Zach with a 3-bet to 2 1/4. Now the cool thing is, last time he was 3-betting big with aces, he never showed his hand. So I mean, he's not necessarily getting credit for on some sort of massive. Oh yes.
Versus queens. So let's see if this goes to a chop or not. I always like it when we have dueling hands.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, especially with crushers like this, because you never know what can actually happen. Also, it's not kings or aces, so there is some possibility for people to make really big folds in different spots depending on the line that these players want to take. And I'm curious.
Yeah. Now this is awesome. So now obviously we're facing a 4-bet here by Adam to 700. I pretty much saw this coming. Now what's Zach going to do? Obviously EAD is easy fold here for him. Now Zach's just got to figure out if Adam really has kings or aces, because Adam could potentially make this move with like jacks. Obviously queens are not likely since Zach's holding the other 2 queens. Looks like he's gonna call. Okay, and this is a board where both of them are super comfortable with this board here. 10-10-7, no overs. Highly unlikely facing a 4-bet that either player has a 10 unless they had pocket 10s and flop quads.
They would basically have to put each other exactly on kings or aces in order to ever be able to get away from this hand. So Adam's gonna lead out.
So 1,500 in the pot. And Adam was our original aggressor. Now he bets 5 1/4. This is kind of interesting. It's a bit of a down bet if you think about the $700 bet pre. Zach's reaching for chips. You guys are so sick. Queens versus queens. Everybody's like, set over set coming. Quads. You guys are so sick. Rigged deck. All right, so looks like Adam does make the call here. I'm sorry, Zach makes the call. Jack on the turn, another under. I think jacks could have been one of the few hands I think either player could be sweating each other on. That would be just a sick hand, but I really don't think either player is going anywhere here. So, because Adam checks the turn, it looks like, over to Zach. And this is sick. This is one of those things where, okay, so Zach decides to check too. This is one of those few instances where you don't want to check behind and necessarily be like, okay.
Adam had already, okay, it said check.
Yeah,
that was
so Adam checked and then Zach thought about it and then checked. It's one of those things where I think Zach's thinking about, if I check here and let him get there with like an ace high or some crap, like I would hate myself. So that's kind of where you're weighing that risk versus reward. I think Zach has a lot of showdown value.
Yeah.
If I'm Zach here, yeah, check and he shows down. This ought to be funny. Hey! You
and
see
they
that little
go
look?
through this little like, we're both both relieved that it wasn't some kind of crap that we just got, messed over on.
I almost waited for him to talk it out. Like, you got a pocket pair? Yeah. You got a big one? Yeah. Oh, crap. You're probably good. No, you're good. No, you're good. Once again, you guys are watching Stones Live Poker. Justin, Kasey. Make sure you guys click the follow, subscribe, heart button, all of the above, whether you're watching on YouTube and Twitch. We're here with you at least 3 times a week. Lately, it's been a whole hell of a lot more, actually. Yeah. Pretty solid. We've had, I think there's a spot coming up in March or April, I believe. Justin said we're broadcasting like 14 days straight. That's
insane.
Game on.
Yeah. And we've just got so much stuff going on. We've got Vanessa Cade coming in. Super excited about that. And then we have the vloggers coming in as well.
Why does Veronica always throw cards at our guests' heads? Every time. She's doing the same thing to Jonathan Little every time. He was in here with her. He's just like, oh, who's that lady throwing cards at my face? That's great. See, BOK Lan says, you play that crap? We've all seen that. Everybody says, oh yeah, you flip over the same hand as somebody else. Oh, I can't believe you play that garbage.
Ryan raises to 80 from the hijack with ace-9 of spades. JD is going to make the call from the cutoff with the queen 10. And 2 barehead pocket 7s. Looks like he went ahead and folded the 7s. Playing pretty tight there.
Yeah, just a single raise, not really a 3-bet, 4-bet. Oh, wow. And there's a 7 there on the window. All suited connected board. This ought to be fun. Let's see how this plays out. That's where you see the 7, you're like, yeah, ooh, not sure how I feel about this.
No, yeah, you can see the deadness in his eyes. Yeah. He's like, my life.
I believe it said Rob Malt there. What's that yellow chip? It is a 1K chip. Somebody else asking, when is the Vloggers game? If you haven't done so yet, our entire calendar is available on Stone's website and also on the free app that's good for your Android or Apple phone. So go ahead and grab that app, 100% free. Click on calendar and you can see everything we have coming up.
So JD has the best of it right now, but Brian can hit an 8 to make his straight.
See, and it's so sick. And the problem is everybody plays weird when it comes to all suited flops, right? People instantly get a little gun shy about their hand. They play a lot more cautiously. And sometimes you can really exploit that. Generally speaking, I'm not ever going to call a bet with a drawing hand where I don't have some sort of flush backup, you know? Here's everybody writing notes next time they play against him. He's like, I'm betting against a suited board every time. Screw this guy. Take all of the monies. B. Burnstead in the house. What's going on, bud?
Dondo says 7-7 is a standard fold there, I think. I think 6 is an under, maybe. But 7's is getting, you've got 2 people in. The raise wasn't that big, no 3-bet.
And it's really, it's a 5, 10, 20, so it's a 4x bet. I mean, I feel you, but at the same time, I'm looking to gamble a little bit there. I'm not in love with them. I'm not thinking like I'm going to re-raise with them or that they might even not be good. But at the end of the day, I'm going to see a flop for $80 forehand.
Right.
With 7s.
And we already have 2 players in. I agree. Waprice says the game got nuts late into the night.
What other food showed up? Like, did cottage cheese sit down and just start smashing people, or what? What's going on?
I don't know what food showed up later. There was some bacon, some pineapple, some beans and potatoes, some pork chops.
The Brussels sprouts came in. The Bloody Mary came in and said, just put it all right here.
I don't even know what Holly food is, but we had
Holly food. Oh,
Holly food.
That's just classic.
Holly food is on the table.
Holly food, Hollywood. Live is better. Thank you very much for your comment on Twitch. I'm sure our booth guys will see it here, and we are taking all comments into consideration. After all, we do the show for you guys, man. So we really appreciate you guys being here.
It's brand new. It just came up over the over the last 2 days. It just popped up here. So definitely just getting it all started with the new booth, and more things to come. So.
I mean, when we first had this booth, there was literally not even frosted glass here, and people just come up and put their butt cheeks right on the window. So this is already a huge improvement. A huge improvement.
Ace Queen for Peter K. We saw him eating his salad, so he should run good.
Oh, look at this setup board here.
Adam's got open-ended straight draw and top pair, but Peter K also has 2 overs as well as the nut flush draw.
And even a weird gut ball straight draw, too, if a jack comes.
Oh, exactly.
Peter's got the world. Look at this.
Yeah, he actually has the odds to win this hand.
And if you're Adam, it's not like you're hating life here. I mean, flopping a pair on a coordinated board like that and being open-ended and top pair, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so if Adam hits his jack high straight, he's going to be in trouble here.
So 3 on the turn, complete brick. Now, if you guys take a look at the top there, it shows 14 outs. You'll see grayed cards, and the grayed out cards are outs that other people had in their hand pre-flop that were folded. So there's actually 14 true outs, but if you're doing the math normally, you'd think roughly 18. Donda, you're seeing advertisements on Reddit? Oh my god.
You get the money card, I would say. It makes Adam straight. It also makes Peter straight.
Now
and
a quick now see Peter said he checked and said if I'm Peter, I definitely go for value there because it's such a scary board. I don't think that unless Adam has either a queen or a flush, I mean hell, Adam might even check a queen there. At the end of the day, I'm never going to lose value by not betting that river if I'm Peter.
Right.
And unfortunately for him, Peter's normally tight image works against him there because if he bets that river, even though Adam has the bottom end of that straight, depending on what he bets, Adam could find a fold there. So
yeah,
I don't really know how you get value there if you're Peter. I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough because against Peter, he is such a tight player. So Adam may be thinking against Peter, you know, he's only calling with a flush or better. But against, I think, most players in that spot, especially the way the hand played out, I think value is probably, you would need to go with value with your straight.
And obviously, Peter's not calling with air. Peter's calling with a big part of that. And so when that card hits, it completes everything.
Exactly.
And so Adam's like, yeah, whatever, check here. Cool,
exactly.
Yeah.
I've got some showdown value.
Thanks for letting it be free. Like, exactly. I appreciate it, yeah. All right, so this is a bomb pot, guys. I believe it looks like they're doing a $75 bomb pot because they're sick with it. We love it. So everybody goes to the flop. There's the pot, 5 1/4, and we play it out from here. Speaking of coordinated boards.
Yep. So JD has the queen high flush draw. Not a lot working for anyone else.
Oh wow, see,
Brian has a pair of 6s. It's going to get down, and JD's just going to take it down right here with his nobody, you know, it's the funny thing about bomb pots is that you just expect that somebody just nailed the flop and has everything because everyone's in, but sometimes nobody has much of anything, and you really can just exploit that, especially if you're really paying attention and are focused in on how interested people look are looking at the flop and how focused on the hand they've seen, and you can kind of see if you think maybe people have missed and maybe exploit that sometimes. Yeah,
the problem is it's funny because like you said, in a thing like a bomb pot, everybody is a rangeless beast. Everybody is, you know, Harlan, can I say that? Is this thing on? But everybody's a rangeless beast in that scenario. So you're always scared that your hand could easily be beat by like 2 crappy pair or something. So on the other hand, since you know everybody's kind of fearful of that, why not exploit it?
Right.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people lay down big hands, over pairs, top pair, top kicker, because they're like, no, I had no control on pre-flop, and everybody has anything, and I don't want anything to do with this hand, you know?
Yep. You can definitely go both ways. You can feel like you have the best of it, and then you get easily drawn out on because there's so many hands. So bomb pots are just that weird, funky land that we live in.
Biggity bam. All right, so look at this ace high flop here with a couple of spades. Jimmo and Adam both connect with their ace. Running backdoor spade potential for Anthony, the only player here with a spade. Angry Pollock in the house on the bowling semi-pro circuit, it looks like. Handling biz. He's gonna go show these LA cats how to bowl. I just picture like Kingpin and Bill Murray when he's got like his hair all crazy and he's just like, yeah. When was the last time you saw Kingpin? Have you seen Kingpin? Oh my god, it's so great. That's alright. Bucket list status. You guys are good. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, Bill Murray and Kingpin. I can pull up a little animated GIF. It's gonna be beautiful.
I don't watch too much anymore these days.
I'll explain every one of my movie quotes to you then. Don't worry, we're good. We're good.
So we've got let's see, a pot here brewing between Jim O and Adam D from Under the Gun +1. Adam D's in the cutoff. Adam's going to go ahead and lead out here.
And of course, Kasey hits the turn, so battle the kickers.
He chose about 375, 390. Yeah, 390 he bets with his ace jack. He's got the better ace.
So you can see there the outs up there. A 4 or deuce would end up chopping this up. Otherwise, a 9 would actually give Jim O the pot.
Now, I didn't see if Jim O raised pre-flop from early position, but definitely this is why playing those kind of middle ace cards can be so dangerous, especially from earlier position. You're out of position against possibly a bigger ace and don't really know exactly where you're at. Now, when the second ace comes out on the turn, you feel a lot better about your hand, but then we have a spade come out.
So I like this actually. So Jim O checked, playing it safe because he really wanted to be able to table his hand there. He had a lot of showdown value. Adam checked behind. I don't actually hate Adam's check. There's so many players. If Jim O doesn't have an ace, which again, since there's 2 on the board and 1 in your hand is semi-unlikely, if he had that flush draw and he's looking to make that sneaky check raise on the river, i.e. exactly what Peter was trying to do before, Adam totally avoided that both times, actually.
Right.
So that's how Adam does Adam things, straight up. That's how you keep money, huh? That's how you keep money at the table?
Yeah,
like
Adam decided that it was a better option with that type of board texture to go ahead and check it back. Now, I hear like a voice in my head saying, people lose so much value on the river. People lose so much value on the river. I think I've heard that a few times. So, you know, he could have possibly went ahead and gone for some value there.
See, and sometimes I gotta think, like, I take the opposite approach. Sometimes I'm like, I open up the floodgates, and then all of a sudden I bet he check raises me on the river, and then I'm thinking like, and then I question everything about life. I'm like, was I that obvious? Am I that bad? Are you that good? I question life at that point sometimes.
Right.
So sometimes I'm okay with a complete check, showdown, happy with the pot. Didn't want to open the floodgates.
And I think that's really where, if you've had, we've got kings here from Adam, the experience with different players really does pay off, because if you have had enough experience to say, I just know he just doesn't re-raise rivers hardly ever in the spot, or he is very capable of, you know, check raising me here on the river, then you can really decide which option is best suited in this scenario.
All right, it looks like we got a new shooter sitting down. I think we did a little seat shuffle. I think Zach left. Maybe somebody took his seat. And then we have our new guy here. And I believe we've seen him on the stream a few times, actually. So.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like he's loading up. He's ready to party. He's counting money and looking around the table like, how much do I need here? What are we?
That is Sub Sub.
Yeah, Sub Sub.
Sub Sub has been on the stream quite a few times. I played with Sub Sub quite a bit, and really great player and good for the game. He's been mixing it. He normally plays pretty tight, but then I've seen him change up his style here recently and play differently. So I'm interested to see which Sub Sub shows up tonight.
Now let's check this out. So Adam, again with the 4-bet up to 700, Anthony facing that here. Now we can see Anthony doesn't have an extremely strong hand, but Anthony also saw that Adam 4-bet earlier against Zach, and they both had queens. So I wouldn't ever picture him 4-betting me lighter than queens. So if I'm Anthony, there's really no way I can find a call here. I'm just kind of posturing at this point and getting ready to muck. I just don't want to give Adam that much credit. Let's make him, if I'm going to fold, let's just sweat for like 10 seconds.
Right, exactly. You don't want him to think that you were so light, you were betting so light here that you can just insta-muck your hand, but that you really have to think it through. And that's what Anthony's doing here. I definitely don't see him making the call here. Unless he has some crazy plan in his head, which he does not this time.
No way. It'd be sick if Adam had air though, and Anthony had some soul read and just ships it. He's like, yeah.
No, Veronica Star says, I like when Sub Sub dresses up. I like it when anybody dresses up.
Hey, yo. Sorry, I didn't get the memo. You're good. I didn't get the memo. My bad. I'm sorry. Guys, the 250K guaranteed spring classic coming up. It is going to be legit. We got Lexfeld Hughes in the house, Jason Somerville, Andrew Nemi, Kevin Martin. It is going to be a stream galore. We're going to be doing like dual streams with some of these guys. We're going to have guests in and out of the booth. So many people in the house. And the tournament structure. There's so many tournaments going on during this thing. I'm telling you, all of April is going to be sick.
10 days years of tournaments and poker here at Stones Live. They're accumulating in a big $150,000 guarantee main event. We're gonna have all the big names here, like we were saying. The main event takes place. It starts on Thursday, April 19th at 10 a.m. The buy-in is gonna be $450 for that event. You get 40-minute levels, which I love. Lots of room to work. $20,000 starting chips, and unlimited reentry for the first 7 levels. We've got a main 1A, a 1B, a 1C, and then it's all accumulating on April 22nd for the final day. 60-minute levels on that final day, which is awesome. And again, it's a $150,000 guarantee. So
and that's a $450 buy-in, right? But
yes.
But unlimited reentry. So I'm gonna be in for $1,800. So make sure you guys come on down. You're gonna love it. Free money.
Yes, and we also have some really cool ones. Like there's the Assassin's Bounty. Ooh, that just sounds
which was
exciting.
Epically successful last time we did it, guys. That is the Assassin's Bounty, where you get $100 bounty chips, but they can also be traded in back into the tournament prize pool for, I believe it's up to 10 big blinds versus up to half your stack or something like that. It makes for a very, very fun strategic final table. Huge success. Assassin's Bounty. Sign up early for that one.
Yeah, if you get short stacked and you've got some of those bounties, you can just trade them in and up your chip stack a little bit.
Yeah. Final table, there was a guy who was the short stack, but he had so many bounties, if he would have traded them all in, he would have doubled all of the chips in play and been chip leader.
Wow.
It was absolutely epic. Everybody's just sitting here screaming at the TV like, cash in bounties, because if you bust, you can't do it. So.
Wow.
All right, so catching up with this board here, Subi Sue, welcome to the table, does connect with top pair with the king. He's going to edge out Bear Hat Aaron's pocket tens. Oh, we didn't lock the door. We're letting people in. The animals just wander in here.
Also, something to keep in mind on that main event, it starts on April 19th, but the 4 days leading up to that, we're going to have satellites. Actually, satellite main events starting on Monday, April 16th. The 17th satellites, the 18th and 19th. Those satellites are... we have both mega and minis. So mini satellites for $60 and mega satellites for only $110. So you can get in the game. If $450 just sounds a little bit too deep for your pockets, then come get into one of our mini or our megas for only $60 or $110 and get in the game.
I love it. And this is the one I was talking about, guys. We got the Stones chip amplifier coming up Friday, April 13th. This is what I was saying. $120 is the smallest buy-in, but then there's also a $220 option later in the day, and then a $350 option, and then a $550 option. So when I played this one, I shot in the 120, and once it came time close to cut up the $550 buy, then I just went all in no peaky a few times and no good, and then I bought the $550. And it was sick, because I started out with not only plaques, and who doesn't love the Stones plaques, but I was chip leader at my table when I sat down. Like, how often can you buy into a tournament and sit down as chip leader at your table?
Never.
Like, it was legit. I'm telling you, Stones amplifier is awesome. My friend says that is very cool. I can't wait to meet you too. Come on out. We're gonna have a blast. We have a lot of our viewers coming in. I believe I think was it Stephen Young, maybe somebody else too. We got a lot of players coming in April for a lot of these events and tournaments we got going on. Yeah, if you come in, dude, and you recognize one of us, say hi. We're always at the tables. We're always around here having a cocktail.
Yeah, I was super excited to meet several of the people that I see in the chat at this last Moneymaker game. That was super fun, and I can't wait to meet the vloggers and meet more people from chat come April.
And nothing's better than when somebody walks up to you in person and says, "Hi, I'm like Fartbutt28," and you're like, "Oh, duh, it's so nice to meet you, Fartbutt28." But apparently your name's just Bill, so it's not nearly as fun.
And even in March with Vanessa Kate, that's going to be super awesome because a fantastic, amazing woman crusher of the game. Can't wait to talk to her and just more hear her story and how she came up in poker. And I just love seeing those female crushers. That's going to be an awesome week in March.
And she's super stoked because I caught her on the stream a few times, and she's like, "I really don't need much of an excuse to get out to California, so you don't need to twist my arm too hard to come and hang out with you guys, but we're in. Let's do it."
That's the week of the 19th. That's coming up soon. Starting Monday the 19th of March.
I love it. Live is better says it's just crazy. Sometimes you have to play higher limits of stones in order to play lower limits. Like the 1-3 Veronica and Friends game played bigger than this. Yeah, well, Veronica and Friends is what I affectionately dub the shit show of awesomeness. I don't really know what else to tell you. I mean, that's 1-3 on like steroids on steroids on steroids.
That game was so much fun.
I just remember her telling me, and this was like over a year ago. when Veronica's like, oh yeah, she invited Frank to her game. She's like, oh yeah, what is it? Oh, it's a 1-3. Frank's like, okay, cool. And Veronica's like, yeah, but bring like $3,000 at least. what kind of 1-3 game is this?
Yeah, Jonathan Little was talking about this when we went to dinner before his game. He was saying, the max we're gonna lose in this 1-3 game is the max I'm gonna lose is $400.
Oh
I think
my
later
God.
he said like I'm in for 5,000.
Yeah.
Like or I'm down 5,000.
Yeah, he bought it for 5,000, and he literally was in. He was just like, how do I get buried 5K in a 1-3 game? What am I doing with my life? Do I need to like question my choices?
You're on Veronica and Friends. That's what it is.
Oh man. Yeah, here at PokerPro, Eric nails it right here, guys. The 1-3 game on Monday. We talked about this on Wednesday night stream. Moneymaker cashed out over 10,000 at the 1-3.
Wow.
Welcome to Stones.
Yeah. Who cashed out for
Moneymaker?
Moneymaker did.
Yeah,
okay.
her. Yeah, we had a pick. We posted a pickup of just racks on racks on racks on racks of chips. I'm like, wow. All right, battle of the high cards here, and nobody connects. 10 high board. Subi Soup first act. Checks it over to EAD. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, we did have Zach from SAC go away from the table, and EAD moved to, looks like maybe get position on Peter. Is this true? Kasey crushes the V and Friends table? Is that you?
This last time I pulled a profit. Now, my first Veronica and Friends game was...
You were the ATM?
Not so profitable. It was also my first stream game, and I was definitely, like, off my game. I feel like anytime it's somebody's first time on the stream, you just can't help but, like, be double playing.
Yeah,
you're
thinking about it.
Thinking about it, and now I just don't even...
Yeah, honestly, I think that most of the time you just don't even think about it. You don't care.
Yeah.
And even the first timers on the stream, I tell them, I'm like, look, here's the deal. You're gonna probably just second guess everything for the first hour, and then once you just play a few hands, win, lose, or fold, like it doesn't really matter. You're just then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm just playing poker.
Right. You forget the cameras after you've been on the stream so many times. We've got Dan here, EAD, betting 200 from under the gun +2 with his Queen Jack, and Sub, it's going to be $200 to call with his Ace Jack. He does decide to make the call.
Yeah, doesn't non-believer.
Now EAD has an open-ended straight draw, and Sub still with the 2 overs.
That's a great card for EAD to continue now. I don't mind a bet here. It's weird. He could actually always check and get a free card, but I think he's thinking that Subi is a little weak here, and he could probably just blow him off this hand. I think he's probably going to get away with this bet, but if he doesn't, he's got plenty of outs to catch up.
And this is where Sub really has to ask himself, if you don't hit your card on the turn, but when you call that bet on the flop, what is your plan going into the turn? Because you're likely, especially against a player like Dan EAD, you're likely going to be facing a second barrel there on the turn, and you need to calculate that into your odds or what you plan to do. If you really don't think he has it, are you planning to check raise? Are you just hoping to hit one of your 2 outs? So you've got to follow that story all the way to the end. If you're suspicious on the flop, what are you going to do about it on the turn in the river?
Yeah, it's funny. We talked about that, one of those things where, you look at somebody's stack and they're an aggressive player or they're betting, and that's the type of player who doesn't generally slow down a lot. We saw this the other day. Somebody fires, I think they fired like 500 or 600 on the turn, and the river they only had like another 500 or 600 behind, and so the player was really tanking, because I know you're thinking, if I call this 500 or 600, they're going to shove on the river no matter what. So essentially I'm deciding whether I want to call 1,200 or not.
Right. Because
I mean, if I'm calling the 500 or 600, I almost have to call whatever they barrel after that, unless the river is just a horrendous hand killer,
Stephen Young agrees. He says, yeah, if you're going to float, you have to have a plan. And also, I think, Dan, if he knows his players and you know that Sub tends to be on the tighter side, then you can likely know continuing is going to be profitable in a lot of spots there, and you're just getting extra value for yourself.
Yeah.
Now we've got pocket tens for Anthony in the big blind, and Jim O with King Jack in the cutoff. He's going to make the call when Anthony 3 bets to 220. Kim O calls for 160.
Lots of, yeah.
Already at 465. Now, 2 overs to Anthony's 10s, but they happen to not be the 2 that Jimmo has, although he does now have a 10 for a gutter ball straight draw, as well as he can hit runner flush.
And take a look at the outs there, guys. Actually, there's only 1 10 remaining, too. The 10 of diamonds was folded pre. 10 of spades would be sick, because for so many reasons, we give Anthony a set, we actually give Jimmo a re-flush draw and the nut straight as well.
Yeah, going to be hard for him to hit his straight here with Anthony already having 2 10s.
Yeah, the good old 1-outer for the straight.
Yeah.
Any king or jack is good either, guys. 7 outs, and he's going to come along. Does have position. He's just going to see what peels here. And Bink, that does give him the best of it now.
Now, Anthony hates this because now he's got 3 overs to his 10. He got called on the flop. He got called pre-flop. He got called on the flop. And he can't feel good about his 10s.
And the problem is, if you're Anthony here, you're out of position, and you don't just want to keep firing money into somebody who could just be like check calling with like a mediocre hand, like a random, like an ace whatever, ace 8, ace 7, ace 9, ace 10. I mean, you did call your 3-bet pre. He originally raised and then 3-bet. He got 3-bet and he called. I mean, that's really in his range here.
Right.
Let's see what Anthony does. That's 425. The pot was about 1,000, so he bets a little less than half pot. And that's, yeah, it's so hard for Anthony to continue there on that board at all. Just that's not the board you ever want to see with 10s. Taking a look at those healthy stacks. Adam D at 11K, no surprise there. Jim O around 6K. EAD around 5.5. Pretty healthy game. Shout out to our dealer Paul there. Not only a super nice guy, but extremely talented artist. If you guys have seen any of those Stones Live special edition hats floating around, he did all those.
Wow, I had no idea.
Oh my god, he's an amazing artist. In fact, my hat I normally wear that's in my avatar, it says Train, he did that one as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. He painted me quite the nice Goonies piece. I have it hanging up actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. I had him redo the poster, and he actually he'll do painting on clothing for you, but he actually normally does painting on like acrylic or glass, so it's completely reversible.
Does he paint portraits or like people as well?
Whatever you want. He actually, his bread and butter is actually a lot of sports. So a lot of sporting teams hire him, sports agents. He does really big pieces for their office or the stadium walls and stuff like that. Super talented artist. Yeah.
While we have a little bit of downtime, I also want to mention that it is MS Awareness Month, Multiple Sclerosis Awareness. That disease touches someone in my family. I have a family member with MS, and it's very dear and near to my heart. So keep that in mind. There are definitely places that you can go to help out that cause. But MS Awareness Month is going on right now.
Absolutely. And speaking of great causes, I know we had the big 24-hour give back here recently on Wednesday night. We absolutely hit the maximum. I got out of the booth to go sign up because they were giving away $100 for everybody who walks in the door. They were like, yeah, we already hit the absolute max, but you can sign up if you want. I'm like, sure, sign me up. So we gave away, we were going to give away 5K no matter what, plus $100K, plus $100 for everybody who walked in the door. We maxed that out at 75K, so we gave away $80,000 to the Weave Foundation on Wednesday because it was a Wednesday and this is Stones. Why not?
Weave is such a great cause, helping to battle against sexual discrimination, domestic violence, and just fantastic that Stones chooses to get behind causes like that. It's one of the reasons, on top of a million others, why I absolutely love being part of the Stones team.
Absolutely. Actually looked pretty bad there. They had these Weave letters that were just standing up, and one of them was kind of bent and it kept falling over. And so I was trying to bend it back in place and it wasn't working, so I almost started like hitting this Weave letter. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be punching and beating up the Weave letters. That's probably not like the best photo op we're looking for here. Just put that out there.
Again with the big pairs, Jimmo's got queens and he hits a set of queens, but now Soup has the flush draw where he can hit another heart to have the king high flush.
And all sorts of fun outs. JD just kind of out in the cold with this flop.
Absolutely.
Not much going on here. There we go. 165 bet by Jim, called by Subisub. JD hits the bricks. 6 on the turn here, changes and nothing. Subisub looking for a jack or a king or a heart here. Looks like only 2 of his 11 outs are dead, so drawing to 9 outs. Mr. Smiley, if somebody asks you if you're a god, you just say yes. That's what Ghostbusters taught me. Go for it. Sorry, another movie quote thing. Yeah, I know.
And he hits a king, so he may actually think that he's good here now.
That's enough to get him to maybe call off a couple bucks to Jimmo here.
Yeah, that's a good card for Jimmo to be able to maybe get a little value. Soup's first option, though, and he's going to go ahead and put in the bet because he thinks now, with the highest card on that board, that he may have the best hand. Likely has the best hand, he thinks. Jimmo makes a quick call and will take this pot. He didn't re-raise because he was concerned about a possible flush already being there, or the king completing some weird straight with the ace-jack.
Good times. Dondo111 says, hey, Fat Train, when are you going to hit the booth in your bar crawl onesie? Well, I'm glad you asked, actually. That is going to be the Vanessa Cade stream. Me and her are both going to be rocking onesies, and if either of us have anything to say about it, I'd imagine maybe a few players rocking onesies as well. And that's no surprise there. I mean, I've already done a stream in, a Deadpool outfit. I've done it in a bathrobe. I mean, the list goes on and on, guys. Why stop there? We're just going to keep going.
JD has ace-jack from under the gun. He's going to raise it up to 110. Now Adam, and let's see. Adam folds, Soup. He's got the 9-10 of clubs. He's going to make the call from the button.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's all sorts of fun. Top pair for Soup, diamond draw for Brian. And JD out there in the cold, man, he really has not been connected with any of his last few hands. Alright, we're catching up with the board here. And I believe somebody did fire on the flop here. I believe Soup fired.
2 diamonds, top pair for Soup. 2 diamonds for Brian. Soup's gonna raise. It looks like about 220. He also gonna hit backdoor flush. Ace-jack goes away. Deuce 3 makes the call.
Now look at this turn. It actually gives him an extra straight out as well
Got
here.
an 8 for the gut shot.
8 of diamonds would be a little sick.
Oh.
we go for blood here. Come on, you guys know you watch NASCAR for the crashes. Oh, queen on the river.
Goes check. Now queen comes on the river here.
Now, if Brian's really thinking about selling some sort of story here, Brian's thinking, how can I rep a 6? Somehow, can I make Soup believe I have a 6?
Well, how would a 6 have played this hand?
Exactly.
So.
Well, he check called, and they both checked the turn.
But Brian 3-bet pre-flop. Brian was
so why,
the 3-bet
exactly. So why
how
should
is he ever 3-betting there with a 6 in his hand?
Have we seen Brian play though? Yeah, Brian has no problem 3-betting like 6-7.
Deuce 3 in his hand, so he could definitely have a 6.
Feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Thank you, Mr. Smiley.
Daniel LaPro, what's going on? Yeah, I believe. Yeah, Dondo's like, hey, you can rep like a queen of diamonds, X of diamonds. I always hate that actually when I put somebody on a flush draw, especially like I put them on a big flush draw, like an ace or king high flush draw, and then they miss the flush but the ace or king peels. I'm like, you luck box.
More big pairs.
See?
Yeah. Pocket kings.
Okay, I'm gonna bet. I don't know anything about Jimmo, and I love Jimmo. I'm gonna say kings don't get this hand. They're just so
I'm gonna take kings.
Okay, deal.
Okay.
Against any other hands.
What are we betting?
A drink.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here. EAD with the mystery hand. He right there. That's my mule. He's cracking kings. He's cracking kings this hand. Oh, 3-bet to 3. Yeah. I mean, crap. We're not even gonna see a flop because Jimmo's just gonna like stuff it.
We don't even know what EAD has.
Doesn't matter. I still like it. He's got pocket jokers.
I'm trying to figure out what EAD stands for. Like, I keep wanting to think electronic dance crew, but it's not. It's EAD.
Oh, he's in so much trouble. Oh, God, can I just buy you a drink now? This is bad.
We have a club board that comes out, or there could be some straight cards. But yeah, you're in trouble. Most likely in trouble for sure.
Come on, 9 Jack Queen, couple of clubs, we're good. This is easy money.
10, 10, 7.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. See, he just won it there. Lame. Whatever. Okay. If the board, you're lucky the board didn't come out. So I totally would have won.
We should have had, it has to go to a flop or something, but.
Yeah, that's all right. Queen Tiffy 120, what's going on? Now following on Twitch. Thank you very much for the follow. I like that. We have that when somebody follows new on Twitch or YouTube up there. It just gives us a little flash, a little shout out.
That's cool. Like it.
Mr. Smiley says, Pocket Joker's awesome. No joke. We actually did, no joke, pun intended. We did open up a new bicycle deck one time when we were camping, and I just handed it to a buddy, and he took out the instruction cards but forgot to take out the jokers. And so we're dealing out Holdem, and I actually get Pocket Jokers, and I just mess around, and I kind of soft bet it all the way down. I end up chopping the pot. Ace King, 10 Jack Queen comes out. He's like, I got the nuts, and I'm like, I guess so do I, and we chop. With Pocket Jokers, I chop. That's how bad I run. I'm the worst. Alright, so EAD popping to 50 here. Looks like JD and Jim O. Jim O, what are you going to do? He's going to come along.
Yeah, I've played with EAD before, but I have not actually seen him from this side and gotten to see his cards and how he plays them. So I'm curious because I know he's a crusher, so I'm really interested in what hand selection he's choosing. He's on the button and he raised here with the 5-6. Now JD and Jim O both have the jack. Jim with the better of it.
And you know, you see that a lot. I mean, he raised from the button with 5-6. A lot of these solid players, I mean, you know, their hand range not only really loosens up on the button, but they get pretty much way more aggressive than anybody else on the button. They have no problem. They have 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. Position's great, right? You love having the button. You love getting. But the thing is, other great players also know that they love having the button, so they always have to like probe. Like, hey, do you really have aces or do you have 5-6?
Right. Now it's battle the jacks here, and it's going to go check, and JD's going to get the bad news that Jim O has him outkicked. He needed an ace on the river to chop it up.
Once again, guys, there's YouTube and Twitch. If you can hear or see this message, that includes you. Make sure you click, follow, subscribe, all the above. We're 100% free for you, and we love what we do.
Yeah, and it'll let you know whenever we go live, so you never have to miss any of the action.
Yeah, and really, the notification thing is super clutch, because normally we're live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, guaranteed at 7. But the live notification is great for final tables, because you never know when a final table happens.
Right.
Harry Hawker in the house. What's going on? Welcome to the game. You're watching a little 5, 10, 20 no limit action. Adam's just chilling. I love it.
Massage.
Getting a massage, hanging out. Looks like we actually have a new masseuse in the house tonight. Tracy actually got a companion, huh?
Yes.
I'm not surprised
because try her out. I'm supposed to try her out once we finish in the stream.
Well, you know, there's always a wait list for Tracy, like 8 people long, so it's only a matter of time until she needed some help, you know. Once again, taking a look at stacks. Even the smallest stack on the table is over 3K, and then Adam up at like what, 11 or 12. Healthy game.
I need to run the ladies. Hold it down while I run the ladies.
I got it. Man.
Right.
I'm gonna lock the door while you're gone.
Don't do it.
I'm the captain now. All right.
I'll be back. I'm gonna.
No, trust me. All the viewers would riot. They're like, we don't want to see you. That's fine.
I'm gonna try my best to squeeze behind you. I'm gonna run like the wind.
That's a good song. All right. Whew. I thought she'd never leave. Sorry you guys have to stare at me for a while. I apologize. All right, Peter popping it up here with ace-9, and easy money gets through. $30 35, 39. Okay, so it looks like almost exactly 50K on the table, so healthy game. Once again, Veronica and Friends with Vanessa Cade coming up. If you guys don't know who Vanessa Cade is, she is an awesome, lots of fun poker streamer. She's a huge onesie fan, so nothing but love there. Check her out, Twitch, Vanessa Cade. Just Google her name, you can't miss her. And she is going to be in the house coming up. She's going to be, I think she's playing the game, then we're doing a few streams. Lots of fun, definitely looking forward to it. It's a pretty healthy table, a lot of crushers here. It's one of those tables where I sit down and I think, you normally look around at the players, you're like, okay, I can pick off that guy, I can pick off that guy. There's not really a lot of players at this table that I feel comfortable regularly picking on, you know? All right, so JD here with King Jack suited makes it 115. Jim O from the button, 3-bet in the 330. Life's good if you're Jim O. You're on the button. You have him notched. You 3-bet him, and ooh, solid fold by JD here. Letting it go. Not surprised. You know, if I'm in JD's spot there, the one guy you're trying not to get involved with if you're in the cutoff is the guy in the button. Obviously, JD doesn't know he had a notch there, but I'm not trying to get completely stacked with a hand like King Jack either. Boom. Did you go out and take a ride in Justin's Tesla? Is that what you did? I know. Shouldn't it just come over here and pick us up? It's raining. Just like, Tesla, come to me. Summon. Is this thing on?
Did I miss anything super exciting?
No, there was a wicked 3-bet and a fold. It was epic.
I see. Ace Queen for JD from the hijack. He's gonna raise it up here.
So the last hand JD had raised, 75. And right here in seat 1, he actually 3-bet him, and then JD folded. JD had King Jack, he had Ace Jack.
Bear has got Ace King. He's gonna call the 75.
Super Soup coming along. Little King 4 suited says, let me show these guys what's up. Lots of 7s and an ace. Now this is going to be fun here. Nothing going on for Subi, but battle of the kickers for JD and Bear Hat here. Bear Hat enjoying something off the, looks like a delicious dessert off the Stones menu. Guys, if you haven't been to Sammy's here, if you haven't eaten at Stones, highly, highly recommend. Amazing food. Those Brussels sprouts though, right? With the balsamic drizzle and the cheese, the fresh mozz.
I eat those like all the time.
Yeah.
But my staple I had earlier tonight is the balsamic chicken salad.
Yeah.
I eat that like literally every time I'm here.
And life pro tip,
eat it.
you can just order the normal size. The large size is like ridiculous. The normal size is huge. You're fine.
Yeah. Individual is large enough.
There it is. Aaron shipping it. Yeah, guys, it says Aaron had about 2.5K. We can see that number is off there. He is just going to ship it in. Looks like he had about closer to 1K. I think you're right, Dondo. Oh, Queen on the River gets some. Ay-ya. That is going to be a tough break for Bear Hat Aaron there. Wow. That hat is good for living against bear attacks, but not so good for surviving.
We've already seen him have to rebuy once earlier tonight, and so this is going to be a little painful for him to take right there whenever you've got somebody drawing so super thin.
Now, I know Bear Hat Aaron, you probably talked with him a decent amount. I think he travels a lot, right? I think he travels a lot. I know that I think Justin had an upcoming trip. I think he was going to go somewhere. He was going to talk to Aaron about it first. But you know what I like hearing about when Aaron's stories about when wherever he goes, he always tries to play poker. So he talks about this great, like it was a 2-pound, 5-pound game in London, but because of the conversion rate, like it was a really solid, like mid-stakes game. And, you know, he's just like, oh, it's so great when you're in there because they're playing with, you know, tiles. You feel like you're in that James Bond movie. I'm like, yeah.
Everyone's speaking with their English accent.
Exactly. I've never, because here, you know, you always hear English only at the table. I've never played in a foreign country where it's like Swahili only at the table, and you're like, I got nothing. I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing.
Pocket 8s for EAD. He raises to 75. Now JD is going to call 75 from the hijack. And Jim O, he's going to be in there with the king jack from the cutoff. And I believe Adam D, why not, with ace 10. Everybody's got a little something they want to see a flop with. No, Adam decides to actually fold.
And you know why? Because he's getting a massage. When I'm getting a massage, if I don't look down a pinch like jacks are better, like, I don't care. I'm out.
With so many people in the pot, he just doesn't think his ace 10's going to cut it. And he's right, because Sub's got ace queen of clubs, and he's going to 3-bet to 435 and see who's got a real hand and who was just trying to come along for a ride.
And, I mean, you can tell me how you feel, but for me, with ace 10, I don't know. I'd much rather be the guy raising with ace 10 than the guy calling with ace 10. I don't want to call a raise with ace 10 because I hate my life, but if I'm raising with it and somebody can't 3-bet me, I'm like, I feel good. I feel better.
No. EAD is going to make the call. Everyone else, I think, is going to go away. Yeah.
Wow, the only player with a heart there we saw got out of there, so this is a pretty scary board for both players. Checked through. Wouldn't be. Somebody's got to take a stab at this. There's a grand in there.
Now,
there's no way.
You can get a 4 for a straight as well.
I can't believe that EAD checked behind Sub twice. I figured it was going to almost be an auto bet after Sub double checks the flop and the turn. I thought EAD was going to take a chance stab at it, but.
Yeah. It is. He's going to bet now here on the river and think he can probably get some value late. He just wanted to make sure that Sub didn't have, because Sub 3-bet, he was trying to make sure Sub didn't have a larger pair than he did already, so he's trying to play it more conservative for pot control. But now he feels really confident about his hand on the river, and he's going to go ahead and go for some value.
Wow, and he's going to get it too. Wow. And honestly, I don't even know if he loves that call. When Sub calls, I don't think he's real super excited about the call there. I mean, he's going for value, but I mean, I don't know, if Sub has a calling hand, I don't know, I guess maybe a lower pair or something like that.
Yeah, Sub's like, what are you checking flop, checking turn, and betting river there when another 5 comes out? And how would you have a 5 in your hand if you're calling my 3-bet pre? My ace queen could be good here. Yeah. And that's why he gets paid off.
Once again, guys, there is the Assassin's Bounty coming up right smack dab in the middle of April. Starts at 10 a.m. 25K guaranteed, $100 bounties. You can trade back in bounty chips for tournament chips. It is an absolute blast. If you haven't played one before, do it. I know it was also a lot of fun was the Win the Button tournament we had at my table. I thought it was real funny. 2 players literally looked like they saw a ghost the first time somebody won a pot and they got the button pushed to them. They had no idea they bought into a Win the Button tournament. They just thought it was bounties. And they're like, wait, you guys are doing it wrong. You guys play so weird here in NorCal.
Let's structure our format. We love to keep it interesting.
When you want to check rate.
We play a lot of poker. Sometimes it's just so much fun to have these different formats that can really just make things fun, add an extra dynamic to your thought process. And it's always great to just learn a new format. Crush it.
All right, so what's this ending in here, guys? This is a bomb pot. $600 out there. Let's see how it goes.
Got Jim O, who's got the best queen. Yeah, but Peter does have the nut flush draw. Become another heart. Anthony's going to be in trouble here with the worst of it. Oh, okay.
That's my best guess.
Yeah, because it says you lost your audio.
So this is where we talk all the crap behind the scenes that we don't want anybody to know about, right? Because they can't hear us. Scotch. Down it. No, I'm just kidding. So Anthony's hard draw. Wicked contender here against Peter.
Says they can hear you some, so be careful. Us, but we're still innocent. We're not doing anything wrong.
At least on camera.
Tag said, I heard that.
That's where everybody turns their speakers to like volume 30. And they're like, oh my god, it's so loud. Is he gonna get Peter to lay down this flush draw? This raise by Anthony here, this aggression could pay off.
swing for a 5-yard top limit shot. Aviation to blank PLO, please bring me out.
You're really putting Peter in the hot seat here.
Fuck, man.
Anthony is the
That's it. And you know, this is what we were talking about, right? He got Peter to lay down the nut flush draw, and everybody's so scared of these bomb pots because they're rangeless beasts, right? You have no idea where somebody's at. Obviously, Peter knows if his flush hit, it's good.
Somebody can already have a set.
Yeah, but he knows he needs to get it to be good, though, you know?
Yeah. And Anthony, who's just not afraid, he's unafraid. He's a fearless beast. He's just going in there with the aggression, and he's making it happen, and he's taking down pots, and he knows whenever he can exploit that weakness. I think he has very well-timed aggression. I've seen this from him before when I played with him. He seems to have a good idea of times whenever players are marginal, and in those marginal spots, applying maximum pressure and really taking them down.
When you get the feeling like somebody's like, he'd probably call up to this amount, he'd probably call up to a $500 bet, you're like, great, I'm gonna make it $1,200. Let's make him squirm. You can't call this. Yeah, I mean, let's swap those hands around. Let's give another relatively kind of loosey-goosey player Peter's nut flush draw there, and they snap call at him, and it's like, great, cool, $1,200. Say, if I hit it, I'm good. If not, whatever. You know what I mean? But Peter's like, nah, I'm not into this.
Yeah, that's when you know your player, you know?
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily make that same move against Bill H. or...
Oh my God, Bill H. snap calls. He was like,
or,
gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, the list goes on and on, or maybe even Harlan. Keep it going, keep it going.
You know your players, and you know who you can exploit.
That's actually what I like about seeing a lot of the familiar players on here is that you really get to learn styles of players, and not just that individual person, but other people play like that person. You know what I mean? Like that sort of like tight aggressive player or loose aggressive player or things of that nature. Look at this board, a little something for everybody here. Adam connects with his ace, Jim with the 4, Peter with the 10.
Kotak is questioning Anthony because he felt like he didn't have enough chips behind him to really back it up much further beyond that, because he only had 2.4K behind him with a 1.3K raise. So he's basically committing himself with that raise.
And that's one of those awkward spots we find ourselves as a player, right? Because you're like, okay, I want to raise X amount, but it only leaves me with this, so I really should just push all in. But that's such a gross, disgusting overbet. Like, do I even really want to do that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you get caught in what I call the awkward bet sizing spot, you know?
Right, and then the queen there, you know, even if you think you have the best of it, you know, you're not really calling 1.3. You're likely calling off the rest of that, the other 1.1.
How does that? I mean, Adam already had the best, but how do you go running clubs too? Life is good for Adam. Oh, and now Peter's grabbing for chips. Adam's in position. This is nice. Pot's at 750. Peter's going to give a donation.
Says, I'm going to represent that I have the flush. Unfortunately, Adam actually does have the flush.
Peter's like, you know what, man? I'm going to give a little money. $375 donation over there to Adam. Adam's obviously going to find a raise here with the Stone Cold Nutskis. I really don't. I mean, there's no way you can ever get a call from Peter. I mean, even a min raise, Peter can't call. So. Right,
and this is one of the times when you were talking about Peter using his image to try to make a few bluffs in a few different spots. Unfortunately, this one just didn't work out because Adam just happened to have the flush already.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, oh, what did I do? What did I step into? I just stepped into a big pile of dung.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is one of those spots where it's funny because if Peter had position, I would have referred to what we were talking about earlier where I could have just checked, but instead I'm going to open the floodgates. But Peter, it didn't really matter. Whether Peter checked here, Adam was going to bet no matter what. So I mean, I don't think Adam was honestly going to bet much less than 375. Maybe. I don't know. I think either way, Peter gives a couple bucks in this pot, and then we move on. I think this same scenario. I think he just fold here. He might have check called Adam's bet here of anywhere up to 300. Anyways, I think it's same. Peter's gone. Adam wins.
Yeah. So Peter may have been trying to name his own price there to be able to see get some showdown, because he had a 10 for good showdown. He's saying maybe if I bet 375, then Adam will just call and I'll be able to see if I'm best. There's a lot of different scenarios there, but he could have just checked, and of course, like you said, Adam's gonna raise, and then he likely could have just folded and got away with it and saved some money.
So once again, guys, there's Saturday, April 14th, the Stones Chip Amplifier gonna be beast mode. Looks like you can buy it for the first hour or so. $120 buy and you get 10 can chips. Then we're stepping into $220 for 20 can chips. Then all the way up to $350 for 35 can chips. And $550, the big dog entry is 60 can chips. Like I said last time I did that, the way I like to play those is I'm going to buy in once or two in the earlier levels, and then if things don't go your way, if shit goes south, hop into the big one later. I'm telling you, there's nothing like buying into a tournament and sitting down as a chip leader in your table. Like, it's awesome. It's like I'm starting a tournament halfway through. This is the best. It's so great.
It's also awesome whenever you are in a $250,000 or $150,000 guaranteed tournament and you got there from a $60 satellite.
Oh, dude, I mean, my God, satellites are all the way. Yeah.
It's like, even if you can buy in for the full amount and that's well within your bankroll, why not come play a mini satellite? Show you're the best player at the table and get in cheap.
The mini satellites, the little mini mega satellites, are the best.
Yeah, mini and megas.
9-6-5, couple of diamonds here, straight draw for Brian. Ace Queen High here for Anthony, but I was like diving on the turn for a redraw for Anthony.
Didn't happen.
you were saying didn't happen. Yeah. Good try. Get him next time.
Still could see an 8 here. Make things interesting. It's a 7.
Yeah.
And that
the card nobody wanted, but Brian's like, sure.
Yeah, Brian will take it. Brian will definitely take it. Gibson the best hand. And Anthony H says those cards are very much in your range, and he doesn't bet. He doesn't get crazy with it at all.
Once again, you guys are watching Stones Live Poker. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you click that heart, follow, subscribe button, depending on whatever the heck you're watching on. We are here with you at least 3 times a week, most likely more. In fact, all of next month, we're going to be here like pretty much half the month. There's a 50-50 chance you could just like turn on the internet and we're here.
Yeah.
So make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you get that notification. What can I say? We like you guys. We're kind of fond of you, okay?
We've got some people wanting to know more about the Win the Button. They want us to post it on Twitter, which we definitely will, but I will go ahead and talk about it again real quick here. Friday, April 13th at 10 a.m. It's a $15,000 guarantee, $200 buy-in, and now with that is anytime you win the pot, you win the button as well. So if you continue to win the pot, then you continue to win the button. And
so if you're that aggressive player, this is like your dream scenario tournament.
Absolutely.
Trust me. And if you're not an aggressive player, just make sure all the aggressive players are directly to your left, because you're always going to be like one off the button. It's a super. I made a joke when I got to the table. The 2 guys to my left, I'm like, hey, look, I'm just saying, as long as I'm not in it, I have no problem with you 2 winning all the pots you want, because it means I never have to pay a blind. So I'm totally okay with that. Like my boys to my left, those are my friends. We're good here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I played the Win the Button cash game, we had to draw for seats, and I drew the worst seat. I had the 2 most aggressive people directly to my right, and yeah, they were constantly getting the button, and I was constantly paying the blinds.
Oh yeah.
And it really creates a dynamic where you have to fight for those pots when you're in the big blind. So like big blind versus button, small blind even, you have to really fight to try to keep that person from continuing to win the button over and over again. You have to play the blinds all the time. Brent Harrington is in the house. What's up?
Brent, what's up?
See you in the chat.
Brent, I'm digging the new stash, and I'm digging the bow tie look.
Loving the stash.
I'm digging the bow tie look. You are killing the fashion game right now, my friend.
Yeah, I can't wait till he dresses up next time we're in the booth. Make sure I'll be looking spiffy.
Get all fancy.
Mm-hmm. Tell me what color you're going to wear, and I'll try to coordinate. He says, "Holy crap! I thought that was Dutch Boyd." What does that mean?
I think it's Dutch Boyd the person. I don't know if he's talking about me or what. I'll take it.
Blue, probably. Okay.
There we go. I'll try not to be as tall as you. There we
All
go.
right. I have a blue velvet. I'll wear.
Ooh, velvet. You fancy.
I've worn it once before, but at this point, I'm gonna have to start recycling.
Oh no. Yeah, you could be like me. I wore like a different shirt every stream for the first year or so, at least. I literally kept track, so I never repeated them. But I would imagine that my crappy $5 t-shirts were a little bit cheaper than the dresses you wear. So
You will not imagine how cheap this dress was. I would like you to guess.
Was it like a thrift store special? Huh?
No. It was. I bought it at a department store.
Is it like a double discount,
nice
half points,
store.
use, whatever?
I don't even know if I should tell how inexpensive the dress was, because it's a very nice, expensive looking dress. I don't know if people should actually know how deal shopping I am.
We love it, trust me. We're a fan of anybody who like respects a good, like, hey, look, I know I'm taking you out on this date, girl, but like, it's okay that I brought a buy one get one coupon. Like, don't hate me that much. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how much normal dress. What, like a nice normal dress, $100, $80? I don't know. I don't shop for women's clothes often.
I mean, nice dresses are expensive.
Okay.
I mean,
so this under 100. Under 100?
Under 100 for this one, yeah.
Solid.
Well under 100.
Like $60, $50. Come on, everybody wants to know now. You throw it out there.
Somebody said 89. Somebody said
okay, Brent Harrington with a 450.
He's got the under. He's doing Prices Right.
Prices Right rules. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
He's definitely winning on the Prices Right, because it was more than $4.50.
Harry Hawker trying to get crafty with it on the Twitch. I respect the attempt, but this is an all-ages show, my friend. I don't think we can do that. Anthony here pops it up to $60, and which is more than enough to buy this blue dress or red dress. And then Jimbo calls Subi Soup. Oh, Subi Soup moves seats here. He's in C2 now. Oh, look at that board.
Okay, Anthony's got the open-ended straight draw, the backdoor flush possibility, as well as top pair. Could it go wrong for him? Well, it could if a 10 comes out, because then Jimbo is going to have a better straight.
Oh, it's a C-lock button. I thought they shipped it. I was like, who's going all in right now? What's going on?
Brent Harrington, you went over. Yeah, you did.
At 17:01, he went over?
He went over.
He gets the under and the over? Wow, that's so solid.
It was $15.
That is awesome.
At Nordstrom Rack on clearance.
So here's what we're just going to start calling bets in number of dresses they can buy for $15 right here. Anytime you guys are like, girls are high maintenance, just be like, dude, you need to get the one who's like down with $15 dresses.
Clearance, double clearance.
You know how much
clearance.
that adds to her poker bankroll, guys? It's like solid. She's like, oh, it's great. I spent $15 on dresses.
I like to look expensive, but not it be too expensive.
So we used to call it, my family calls it champagne taste on a beer budget.
There you go.
That's how we do it. We just keep it classy.
It's very important that it looks champagne.
Yes. What is that? It's actually Martinelli's cider. You're going to love it. It's the apple cider for sure. Way the best here. Anthony bets it, gets it. Jimmo can't really continue there, especially with the paired board there on the turn. Yeah, you way less than I thought. Way less than I thought. I mean, I used to cheap, but like figured cheap for dress is like $30, right? Like $40, like
yeah, most of them
15.
Look cheap too.
Yeah.
The dress didn't start out as $15, you know.
So
when it was at Nordstrom's, it was a pretty expensive dress, but I waited and I waited and I watched. No, I didn't really. I just showed up and found it, searched.
This reminds me of those horror stories you see when somebody orders something like straight from like
Thank you, Harry Hawker.
China boat 30-day shipping, and they're like, this is what I ordered, and there's this perfectly nice picture, and then this is what showed up, and it's just like this wrinkly piece of like spandex stuck together with holes in it.
We've
You're like,
all had that happen.
Not even
Ladies
close.
have all had that happen.
Not even close.
That's why you don't do too much online shopping.
All right, so Peter K here. Wow, honestly, I'm just going to give him credit because to raise with a hand like 5-7 suited, not only is it Peter, you're also getting massage. Normally you don't care about life unless you have jacks or better,
right.
So he's definitely getting involved.
Yeah, and from early position also.
Yeah.
So he is... I mean, I like it. If you're going to play this hand, you decide, I want to play the 5-7. I want to mix up my range and, you know, be a little bit more GTO.
Oh man, there we go.
There it is. Now, JD does hit his ace.
Subi with the straight draw there. Peter does connect with bottom pair. Not much going on for Adam. Potential running hearts.
Now Peter checks. This here is where, because it went 4-way to the flop, he didn't feel confident in c-betting. Likely on that board, somebody likely has an ace, which they do.
Absolutely.
JD does, and he bets 200 and takes it down.
When you're raising, you get that many callers. I mean, even if you want to c-bet and continue to rep an ace, you got to think that somebody else with any ace is going to call you.
Right.
Period. They're going to call at least one bet unless you start getting hyper aggro on like the turn and the river. So you're just basically grab a shovel, start digging a hole from there, and see where we go on that board. You're like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, and that's where I generally would like to play 5-7 more often for a raise from a little bit later position. He was in a pretty early position, but I mean, still, it's fine to mix it up. You want to add a few of those in there for sure. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. The majority of the time, you want to play that hand and be raising with it. I'd like to see a little bit later position with already some folds in front of you.
Yeah. Jimmo from the button, a little fun King 7 suited. 65 it is.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel Farad, if I'm pronouncing that properly.
And Subi is going to come along with Queen Jack. Adam and Anthony jump out of the way. All right, heads up to the flop.
My friend says, I will definitely sign your napkin or your cup or your hat or your sweatshirt or whatever.
I just like that every time we address what they say in the chat, I have to say, my friend says that blah, 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 blah. My friend says. So not a bad spot for Jimmo to be raising and actually flopping open-ended. And he fires it, gets through. Subi finds a fold. Moobot is absolutely right. Happens rarely, but they are. So once again, if you guys want to go back and look at any of our previous shows, we have well over 200 of them. They're all available on the YouTube archive at youtube.com/Stones Live Poker. Go check them out. And actually, it's pretty funny. I have had multiple players who are going to play on upcoming streams ask me, well, who's on the list? Who am I playing against? And, most of the time, things don't really get shaked all the way out until, a few days prior. Normally, it's a 90% locked list, but I'll toss them a few names, and they're like, okay, great, I'm going to go back to that archive, and I'm going to watch all the streams that they're on, and I'm going to check. I was like, dude, you got a lot of catching up to do, man. There's a lot of shows on there.
Pocket fives for JD. He's going to call EAD's raise. He raised to 75 from under the gun with A7 of hearts. And Jimmo with pocket queen, who's seen a lot of pocket queens tonight, he's going to, I would expect, put in a 3-bet here. Let's see what sizing he chooses with 185 already in the pot. He makes it 315 to go. It's about a 4x.
Just had our player Hot Dog stopping by, checking out the new booth. Another non-stranger to the stream. He's definitely final tabled a few stream games and taken down some pretty big prize money. And 3-bet gets through.
Yeah,
now,
pocket fives can't call there.
Yeah.
You're really just looking to set mine with pocket fives,
Absolutely.
so you definitely don't want to be calling a big 3-bet.
Yeah, when you're basically, you can't give them the price to get in cheap. And this is something we saw in the last game where it was the absolute detriment to his aces, kings, and another kind of funky hand. 10-7. And the flop literally comes 10-7 brick. And the reason is that aces flatted the king's raise instead of re-raising. In which case 10-7's out and you stack kings and it's on to the next one.
Right.
And so it's like people don't understand that. People was like aces, I was like, you really, it's not about like letting everybody in the world in because you have this huge advantage. It's about isolating down to 1 or 2 players, or at least isolating the range to a much narrow section where 10-7's never going to be there. I don't have to worry about that hand.
Yeah, your equity goes down so much with every player that you add into the pot. So you start going 5-way with aces, your equity is not that great. You really don't have, a significant advantage over a lot of those strange hands that can be in there.
I'm going to give username of the night on Twitch there to AIIYAAAA, which is affectionately something you hear around the poker room. If you've ever played poker, ayah, that's generally a bad river right there. Ayah, how do you have that? Ayah, I like it. Ooh, ace deuce hitting the monster. EAD does connect with a pair of fives. Adam kind of right in the middle of it all with nines. Did Adam just muck a JJ, or was that incorrect? We'll have Stone's Live Poker catch you up on that. I'm thinking that might have been correct, though.
Yeah, Brian's got top bottom. ED goes away. Pocket nines are still gonna try to see what's going on here with Adam from the button. So it's Brian's option. I would expect to see him lead out here. He doesn't want to let Adam check behind. He'd like to get some more value. He bets 250 into a pot of about 410. So just a little bit over half pot.
Easy money. Bets it, wins it. The problem with a hand like ace deuce, and we've all seen this, we've played it, I've been in that spot, you have like ace deuce random on the board, right? Then the board pairs somewhere and it's never your ace or your deuce, and you're completely counterfeited by like anything. Ace 7 has you murdered.
Right.
And you're like, it's the worst. The other night after the stream on Wednesday, I was playing some smaller stakes around here, and somebody sweating him, and he's never played poker, didn't know anything about it. And I tried to explain to him, I was like, when you're learning, I was like, play the cheap home games with your friends. And I tried to explain it like it's the same thing as you're gonna get the degree from the college either way, okay? But Harvard's just like a lot more expensive. You'd much rather take those bad beat lessons on the felt with your buddies for like the $10 or $15 or $20 buy-in than, oh my God, I played poker at the casino and I lost $300 because I didn't know that ace high was good on a two-paired board when I had pocket threes.
Right.
You know, I mean, like learn those lessons with your friends for cheap.
Yeah.
And then hop into a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get that experience from those type of games. And also, there's so many great resources online for you to be able to study where you can really see how people are playing at some of the larger stakes when you are ready to make the transition. And I would really encourage to use those at your disposal.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, and a great example of learning at the lower stakes too, all of our games 1, 3, and higher here are basically uncapped. They're pretty much the table stakes. You can match the biggest stack at the table. But the 1-2 game is a $200 max buy-in here, which means that the 1-2 game is a really, really, really great game to kind of cut your teeth on no limit for some cash where you can actually make a little bit of money, you know, and without having too much downside risk there.
I think we even have a limit game that may even have a smaller buy-in.
Yeah, I mean, they have the 3-6 limit game here, but if you want to cut your teeth on no limit, like the 1-2 capping at 200 is kind of a really solid stopgap if you really want to hop into cash games on a no limit scale, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Now, Jim O just gets really unlucky here with Brian hitting trip kings on the turn, and then also, of course, another heart to complete the flush on the river. Now, no one has that, but Jim O's just like, this is not what he loves to see. Brian bets 200, and with his jacks, because he really, I think, hates the 10 here. He hates the 10 of the hearts. Now, the king on the turn makes it less likely that Brian has a king in his hand, and so he's less afraid of the king and more afraid that he got there with the flush.
And because Brian checks, it's so sick because he checks and then Jimmo checks behind him on the turn. He's not really entirely sure if Brian has a king here. The problem is that 10 being a heart competes the flush draw. If it wasn't heart, I think he could easily find a call here.
Right.
Because it's less likely that Brian has a king. The heart actually might save him money. He could get away here.
Right, and possibly he's picking a fairly decent price because of the pot sizing that he could possibly call as well. It's really up in the air what he's going to decide to do. He may just want to see it and pay the 200, but yeah, interesting to see what he's going to decide here to do. Yeah. And
he's going to say he's got 2 chips. He's got 2 $100 chips in his hand, and he's thinking, I might just say prove it. Oh!
He says, I'm going to save my money.
Really? Oh, God.
But he does one of those ones really hard to decide. He bet about 2/3 of the pot there on the river when the 10 of hearts comes. And Jim makes a great lead down.
Absolutely. Dondo chiming in says game theory probably says like call with Jack with Jack of hearts and fold Jack with no heart, i.e. because you have a heart draw blocker. I feel you on that one. Once again, everybody tuning in, if you might be new to the stream, click that heart, follow, subscribe button. You're watching Stone's Live Poker. Going around the table there, all those chips, the greens are 25s, the whites are 100s, the yellows are 1K chips, and the reds are $5 chips. I don't know if we have any probably have 1K chips still. No, maybe not. I think the 1K chips may be left with Zach from Zach earlier. Don't see any floating around there yet. It's like Adam.
If anyone had them, I would think, yeah.
It's Adam, right? Yeah, I was just like, he's got all the white chips, yeah.
Everybody hit follow and subscribe on either Twitch or YouTube. Always get notified whenever we go live, so you never have to miss out on any of the action. Coming to you 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Friday's our big game. Tonight we've got 5, 10, 20, and it only gets bigger. As well as Monday, we often have mixed games. Wednesdays, we've got our 5-5 no limit hold'em. We're always mixing it up, and then we also have our last Sunday of the month tournament that we stream the final table for, as well as special events going on all the time. It's free to you guys. Just hit subscribe. Make sure you don't miss it.
Absolutely. So it looks like there's still roughly a little over 50K on the table, but the fun part is that out of the 50K in play, the top 2 players have 20K of that. So game on. I don't know actually. Adam and I don't know. We'll go around. I was just doing math. It was tough. There was a lot going on there.
Yeah. It looks like it's.
He's got a healthy amount too. No. Brian? No. Yeah. Brian doesn't have enough white, does he?
Let's see. AD's got 5.7K.
Oh, Adam? Yeah, he's got the 1.3.
Let's see. 4.1, 5.8 for JD. Jim O's got 8.1.
Gotcha.
I think it's probably Jim O.
Yeah, so exactly. So between Jim O and Adam, you got 20K right there, yeah.
Right. And then a lot of other healthy stacks with 5 to 6K. Between, somewhere between 3.5 to 6K.
Once again, guys, coming up, the Stone Spring Classic Epic. Our Stone's Classics have been getting so much more and more popular that we've now been having to actually close out some other tables on what we call the dark side, the table game side. If you guys are watching this, most likely that normally doesn't apply to you. But we actually close a few tables during the day to use as tournament tables, and we have like a 5 to 10 table overflow section that we've been doing now because these tournaments are getting so popular.
Yeah, and the Spring Classic is really exciting because of who we bring in. We are bringing in all these vloggers that you guys know, especially most of you guys who follow poker are going to know a lot of these names, and they're super friendly. So I've met some of them when I was in Vegas, and I'm telling you, like, they're just down to earth. They're going to sit there and chat with you, talk to you about poker. They gave me advice about my poker career and my poker life, and just great people to just hang out with. And they're going to be here. They're going to be in the booth. They're going to be in the game, and they'll be here with us all week. That's Lex Veldehouse, Jason Somerville, Andrew Nemi, Kevin Martin, and they may even bring some of their friends. I think they probably will for the vloggers game.
For sure.
So yeah.
For sure. And you know the cool thing, so I met Kevin Martin, and just the nicest, most humblest guy. He was like, I'm just honored to be able to do what I love and like get paid to do it. Like I just love to be able to travel around and play cards and like enjoy that. That's my life. It's fantastic. Who wouldn't love that, right? Yeah.
The big pairs continue tonight with Soup, Pocket Jacks. Jim O's got the Ace Queen in the big blind.
Paul Reddy in the house. Welcome to the show. What's going on, bud? Dondo asks, is Johnny Vibes playing in the Vloggers game? I don't think so, but we can have either JFK Stones there or our production crew chime in. I'll tell you what, though, we actually met here the last Vloggers game for a little pre-dinner stream, or a little pre-dinner action out there, and it was awesome. There was guys here, there was multiple customers in here who had like their own like posters and stuff, like, hey, can we get a picture? Can you sign this? And they're just, the Vloggers are the nicest guys in the world. They're like, oh yeah, let's get a picture. What do you want to do? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, just super good people.
Totally.
It was pretty funny though. I believe it was Poker Crowd had all of, if you watch, give them a couple days to clip all their footage together, but you can go watch pretty much different views from all the vloggers of their view of the game when they played in it. And every time Poker Crowd had a big hand, like the open-ended 2 overs and a flush draw or whatever, he would always bust out his GoPro cam with a little tripod on the table. And I'm like, it's the biggest read ever. Like if somebody like 3-bets you and then sets up a camera with a tripod, okay guys, we can't make it any more obvious than that. I don't know what to tell you at that point. Like, he's probably doesn't have Deuce 7. I'm just throwing that out there.
don't count it out. If the Deuce 7 game is live.
Oh, dude, if I'm poker crowd, I'm like using that to reverse angle shoot all day. Now I'm like, I have garbage.
Absolutely.
The only way I can win this hand is if I bet, so that's when I bust out the camera on the river and I go all in and raise.
We do play the Deuce 7 game here from time to time. We were playing Deuce 7 on the Moneymaker game, and it got hit several times. Like, I think 3 or 4 times people won with 7 Deuce, and I keep telling them, pay up, pay up, pay up.
Oh my God.
Every time somebody gets a bluff through with the 7 Deuce, or just wins with 7 Deuce in general, everyone at the table has to owe them a certain amount of money, and that changes depending on the limit of game you're playing. So higher limit game, you're going to have to pay up more.
So this is interesting, guys. Clubs are cheap here. I saw Adam actually had king, queen of clubs, and he laid that down to Jimmo's 3-bet here. Obviously, no clubs came out. No surprise there. Adam would have just binked all over that queen there, but 4 are currently the best of it. So Jimmo fires 260 here. Brian with the death stare. Look at the stare over at him. Yeah. Some people stare. Brian just reads souls. He's bilingual. I speak English and soul reading. Monster. Not much has changed here. Adam D still our resident chip leader. We only say that in the cash game to bug Jake at 11.6K, followed by Jimmo just over 8.
Those numbers don't always mean everything that you could think it would mean. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're the biggest winner in the game. They can buy in for whatever amount that they so choose at this game. So
I'm sitting right here. I'm the chip leader at the table who's still stuck, all right? Come on, guys. It's the worst.
It is what it is, people.
You'd be like, oh, wow, you have so many chips. I'm like, I still need to double this, dig out of a hole.
Sometimes the biggest stack of the table actually means the opposite.
Oh
that means that they are the most stuck and they have bought in for the maximum amount allowed so they can try to get unstuck.
We talk about whales. There was one time, and it was at this table right here. You can see, you viewers can, but it was this table. It was a 1-3 game that was so juicy. Players, our regular crushers, were leaving the 2-5 game to come sit at this table. There was a whale, and I'm like, oh, how you doing? He's like, well, I'm down 10 grand. This is a 1-3 game, people. He stuck 10K at a 1-3 game.
It happened.
Guys, I'm not making this up. This is real life.
It happens. And we have the big pairs continue tonight. Pocket aces for Anthony H. I'm expecting he's going to put in a raise here. It was already raised by EAD to 75 from under the gun +1 with the Queen 9 of diamonds. Anthony H is deciding how much he wants to raise here because he doesn't want 5 people in this pot.
That's what we were talking about earlier, guys. The more players in, the more equity you lose there, because at the end of the day, there's so many counterfeitable possibilities here.
And here's the thing, though. Because of Anthony's just ability to, he would make this move without aces, I think, in several spots. A bunch of people just calling just a minimum raise, and he's going to exploit that and try to get people to lay down their hands.
Subi Sue, busy just eating some dinner. He's like, I might call. I might not.
Yeah, and the thing is, nobody really has much of anything to call him with here. And that's why it would have worked if he didn't have aces here. And I know Anthony would have made that same play without aces.
Anthony is one of the kings of the squeeze play.
Yeah.
Oh, did he throw him $5 to run it out or no? To flop it? No. I think he did. Yeah. All right, guys, we got that rabbit cam life. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, no.
Wait, what happened?
So here on the stream, we do allow our players to throw the dealer a 5 spot, and then we rabbit cam it. We only allow that on the stream table because, what can I say? We like action, we like blood. Now, we weren't able to see it there on the board, but sometimes a good rabbit cam is fun. But then again, you're what Jake calls, what anybody calls results-oriented, and we try not to be that, but sometimes you're like, damn it.
Fun. You just
damn it, I should have called.
Thank you, Mac. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm too old for prom. I think you might qualify as a creepy old guy if you actually went to like a current prom. I'm just saying, it's not saying that I've done it, but I've done it. Don't do it. Oh, they're talking about the rabbit cam right now.
Let's see if we can listen in.
They say you can tip the dealer $5 and run it out.
Yeah, and that goes directly to the dealer's pocket, so it's awesome. $80 raise from Anthony with the 9-7 in the big blind.
Guys, I'm not just saying this, by the way. We have some of the best dealers in the industry. They are on point. They are on lock. I'm telling you, it is a breath of fresh air. If you go anywhere else, I feel like I don't realize how good our dealers are until I play other places, and I realize how bad some of the dealers are, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so nice not to have to second guess my own pots I'm in and everything else.
Jack Ace 8 board with 2 diamonds. Nothing for anybody really here. It's a great spot for Anthony to continue to c-bet, and he does, and Peter has to lay it down because he doesn't have any part of that board.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter's got nothing. Anthony's got a little gutter ball, a couple live ones. Already, no Harlan tonight, and no Harlan tonight indeed. Every now and then we give the guy the day off. What can I say? You know, we let him go to Maui and hang out for a while. Sometimes you just like, hey, you know what? You don't need to play poker every day, Harlan. Let somebody else have a pot, okay? Oh, there we go. I love it. I think he's EAD's asking, would you have that one hand? And he's just like, I had, I don't know. It's on the stream. Figure it out. Whatever I got, take it.
So, under the gun, Brian S. has 9-7 of spades.
Makes it 65 like a boss.
He's going to get a call here from, is it JD?
I'll try to update our little seat count over here.
JD, I think. Yeah, JD with the ace-10 is going to make the call. Soup calls with the 3-5 of hearts. He says, why not? I've got a hand here that if it hits, it could make a good little pot with all these people in. I'm interested to see. And now EAD says run it. He calls. We get a 5-8-10 board here. 2 spades. So Brian has the straight flush draw here. He can hit a 6 of spades to actually have a straight flush. JD has top pair. We see Brian has the odds to win this hand with his straight and flush draw. And also EAD could hit a 9 for his straight as well. Now we see Brian go ahead and bet out 115 with his straight flush draw. And JD is going to raise with top pair. Brian's not going anywhere. He's just trying to decide, does he want to raise here or does he just want to kind of string this along? He calls. Now he hits his 9, which is still not best against JD, but he's got 15 outs right now, but we know some of those have been, that's his true outs. That takes out what's already been folded. If it didn't, he would have quite a bit more. He'd have 20 outs.
Still the pair open-ended flush draw action. And while JD checks behind, this might be the, oh god, that is the death of him there. Another 9 on the river.
Wow, and he hits one of the strangest outs, so we wouldn't have really expected him to hit, but we like to deal it up rivers in a fun, interesting way here. And
when you have all these super obvious outs, we want to give you the one that's not so obvious. Like, okay, of course he is running 9s. Why not?
Brian's like, I'll take it. It's not a straight flush, but I will take it. Put in his bet of, it looks like about 500. Let's see, 4. I can't see exactly. It's either, and it's a quick call from JD. He bet 375.
JD says prove it.
JD quickly calls.
That's nasty. Yeah, and honestly, I think pretty much knows that you either have to have the 9 of spades with a flush draw, or you have to have a 9, like a 9-jack, 9-7. You had to be an open-end on the flop or something like that. So really continue too much in that pot.
Yeah, so I think JD's thinking Brian was bluffing there with a missed flush or a missed straight, and that's why he called off quickly on the river.
And being that JD also has the nut kicker too, he's like, dude, I mean, if you have any 10, I crush you. I have to call it. I can't follow the call from JD all day.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah. Steve Young says you never put him on a 9 there. The way the hand played out, it's very unlikely that he was fishing for a 9.
You can't put him on a 9.
I believe Moneymaker did leave. He's gone now, right?
He did, but honestly, I mean, if I'm Moneymaker, I would want to come to SAC all the time. He absolutely murdered it and killed it while he was here. Not only did he have a blast, and we always show him a good time when he's out here, but I'll tell you what, he played in our, I mean, guys, he doesn't have like some special edge. We don't like, oh, okay, well, everybody else gets 10K and we give Moneymaker 20K in tournament chips. No, he played our last Sunday event. He did a 5-way chop for 5K each there, then murdered the 1-3 game for over 10 grand. That's 15K in his pocket right there. Like, it was not a bad trip to Sacramento for Moneymaker. Always good times.
Absolutely.
I even asked him, I'm like, so we don't really even need to like twist your arm to get out of here anymore. He's like, no, man, just
come just for fun.
He's like, if the weather sucks at home, I'm probably just gonna fly out to SAC and hang out. Like that's how it goes. Hooker, what's going on? All right, 246 guys. This is a bomb pot-a-roni. Is this really a $100 bomb pot? Oh, these guys are sick, and we love it. Deuce 4-6 rainbow. Little
Anthony
bit for everybody here.
Has a straight draw here. So does.
Wow. And so does Sue. Brian's got a 4. JD's got a deuce. Jimo's got a 6. Holy crap.
And EAD has 2 overs. We don't know what Peter K is. He probably has the best hand.
Mac, yes, he absolutely did win 10K in a 1-3. And like, as much as I want to just give full credit to Moneymaker, you haven't played one of the 1-3s yet, Stones. Like, it's definitely capable. You don't have to be a World Series of Poker champion to cash out 10K in a 1-3 game. I mean, it doesn't hurt. But. And of course, Peter has kings. That's what we're talking about. On these bomb pots, especially on a board that's so coordinated and close to each other on the low end, if I'm Peter and I'm facing a big bet or a re-raise, 3-bet, 4-bet, I'm just kind of kings all day here.
So we're listening in now.
But either way you look at it, same thing, right? That's the problem. If that happens to me before, what happened here and there? Very rarely. Yeah. That happens.
Hey, James. I got one.
Last night, yeah. Last night it was pretty bright. Yeah, it was super bright.
Yeah, like then 925.
Yeah, it's open, I think. I heard it online. I mean, I haven't been to one. Yeah, I heard it.
That's for this track.
Yeah, they put it on the other side. It's only private. Oh, that's really nice. Got a full bar.
Three out of
Loves
five.
bomb pots. Two bomb pots that really want one.
Yeah, we saw Anthony take down the hand there with some aggression. He chose a large bet sizing there, but you know, his opponent just couldn't call with such a weak hand, especially in a bomb pot. It's really interesting how well he is able to recognize whenever people are marginal or weak and exploit that. I'm seeing him do that a lot, and it is definitely very profitable for him. So we see Anthony taking down another hand without actually having the best of it there. So good job, Anthony. And the jacket comes off. We see the white tee come out. Somebody asked me who is my favorite music. I love lots of different types of music. Now, when I play poker, I tend to choose powerful female songs like Bodak Yellow or Rake It Up, something that equates to I make money moves and raking up chips. And it really pumps me up and makes me feel good when I'm playing poker. But other times you can hear me listening to country music. I even like to listen to like meditation type music. Definitely get in there with like the pop and the rock and 90s alternative. I'm always good for some 90s alternative music as well. So just about everything. So we've got a hand here, Ace King, and Ace Jack, Adam, Brian, and Peter. Brian and Peter both have Ace King. Of course, the board is going to come out all low because all the aces are gone, or most of them. And so yeah, so this is really going to be who decides to take a more aggressive line to win this pot. A lot of checking going on so far. Peter checks, Brian checks, Adam checks, Queen hits the river. So we've got 3 players playing this pot pretty passively, especially now that the Queen comes out. Everyone thinks somebody probably hit the Queen. They're going to find out that Peter and Brian are going to chop this one up. Terror, did Vanessa Cade step into the chat? Did I miss it? If you did, hello, Miss Cade. Oh. How did I not see that? I was looking at the chat. There she is. It's so good to see you, Vanessa. I've been waiting to be in the booth with you, and our moment has finally arrived. It's just the way I like it. I get to be the star and talk, and you can sit there and look pretty. So good to see you. Can't wait to play with you and commentate on the Veronica and Friends game. Tell me all your secrets and help me make millions.
Wait, tell you secrets? What?
Don't sit on Vanessa!
Oh my god! This is why we are not allowing ghosts in the booth, guys. We're just
I
right
didn't
here.
even notice she was there for like a good 2 minutes. I was like looking at the chat, totally didn't even realize.
He was waiting. Our booth guys were waiting for the ultimate slow roll for you.
9, hot dog, Andrew Lee, John P, Steve H, and Big Rob.
She stepped into the booth right next to you.
I was totally oblivious for like a good 2 minutes.
Ah, that's good. Vanessa Case, she just sneaks right in there, you know?
Yeah.
Did they change Peter's picture finally? Max says, yeah, guys, we try to get like fresh pictures of our players now, like kind of on the nightly when they hop in. Sometimes they're pretty good at dodging the camera, though. I just chatted with Brian. He's like, yeah, there's a lot of events going on around town tonight. Sometimes players can be a little thin right now. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, but I just don't want to go anywhere else. And like, this is just right now. And this is like, again, unsolicited. Brian's like,
yeah.
He's like, it's just too nice here. It's too convenient. It's right up the freeway. It's smoke free. Everybody's so chill.
It's delicious.
Yeah, he's just like
clean and.
It's just like, I know I could go a few places. He's like, I'd rather just go here. Yeah, exactly.
We need to have a name for us. It's Kasey Mills and Justin Kelly. We're gonna have to come up with something. I mean, maybe the chat.
I instantly gravitated towards Kasey Train, but I don't really know how that whole thing settles out. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
I think we can
pass. What is the internet? So we should pass.
Let's keep trying.
Oh my god, it was a ghost. You guys are the best. I love our chat.
K-Train, they said. Pretty Train, they said.
I feel like it's bad because you just get K and I get the word train, but like Kasey T doesn't really work.
Yeah, and plus your last name's Kelly, so it could just be like just you in there.
Could be the Kasey Kelly show.
The Kasey Kelly show?
Not the worst.
Like it? Like it?
The double K?
I mean, as long as my name is in the front, because I'm a big dill.
Duh. Because the big dill. The biggest dill.
I'm the big dill.
The biggest dill of all the pickles.
Gotta be in the front.
Queen pickle right here, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Okay, Ace Queen versus Ace Jack. Ace Queen gets the check mark here. He is queen on the flop. In the big blind, he checks. Jimmo's option. If he wants to win, he's going to have to bet, but it's unlikely to get through, and I think he's just going to check and give up on this pot. Yep, and Brian F. is going to take it down.
Table O grinders.
Max says Kasey and Justin make a good team. I agree. We're both pretty high energy, fun people who love us some poker.
Absolutely. We'll take that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Always appreciate the kind words. I think one of the coolest compliments I've gotten here is when somebody hops in and they're like, you know, we'll hit like the Twitch homepage or something, and somebody will hop in and say, oh, Space Mexican won, cheers, all the cheers. Space Mexican won kills it with the cheers. We always appreciate that. All the bits, all the biddies, very cool. Making it rain, cheers, it keeps going. I love it. But one of the biggest compliments I think we can get is when somebody hops in from like the main page and they're like, I don't play poker, I don't know anything about poker, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm thoroughly entertained, I'm enjoying it, and I can't stop watching. We're like, that's...
A new fan of poker.
Thank you.
That's, yeah. Pocket jacks for Soup Soup. Big pairs continue, as I've said a lot of times already tonight. Soup Soup, I think we've already seen him have jacks at least 3 times. Queens a bunch all around, kings, aces, all the big pairs. Pocket threes for EAD. He's not afraid. He's going to call on the button for 125. King Jack, fold, 7-8, 105 to call. Small blind. He's going to make the call. Why not? It's a very, very playable hand.
Bam, look at that. Oh, there we go. King 4-6.
Jimmo can hit a 5 to hit his straight. He also can hit runner clubs. Jacks are still best on this board.
I wanted to say, like, put the one card that puts like a set and a club out there, but we can't because Super Soup and EAD both have the club there.
Yep.
So.
Stephen Young says jacks are best to open fold. They lose 100% of the time. Let's see. This may be that one time.
Math is hard. 100%. This one time. Nah, it's 100% for sure.
See, if a 5 rolls out, he's got 4 outs. Jimmo has.
Now I think he knows here to continue in this hand. He would have to reach down and just start raising. You can't really be flatting there. Yeah, it's just no.
Paul Letty, hey, good to see you. Says Jim is getting beat up a little bit. I think he's lost 1,220 minutes without being in any huge pots.
Jim
leaking out chips with some playable hands that aren't turning into anything. We've all been there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes they say, I make a joke, I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. Like, you're running so bad where even the hands that you're laying down are nowhere close to even giving you any sort of value or action at all.
I didn't see any of the messages. They've all been deleted, but supposedly they were for me.
Yeah, I think all the little cheering bits were for you. Basically, every time they cheer, they throw a little bit. So we have top cheer at the top. And honestly, I think it was actually cheering so much that the bot thought it was spam and like muted him. Like, hey, bro, you need to calm your roll. Excessive celebration rule enforced. No, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, Space Mexican.
Peter K's got pocket 8s. Adam D.
Yeah, he pops to 70. Peter finds a call. It's always worrying. When Peter starts flatting my raises, I'm like, well, Peter's got a hand.
Yeah. Adam says, I'm not going to limp in here with my small pocket pairs like a lot of people do. I'm going to mix it up, keep it game theory optimal. I'm going to put in some raises with these small pairs as well, so my range is not so transparent.
Yeah, and you know the cool thing about when you know these players who like to polarize their their image and stuff. When Adam raises with 3s and he binks like a random rainbow board with a 3 on it, he's going to get action all day long. People are not going to give him credit for any sort of big hand. They're always going to think he's c-betting, and
right.
It's a money train. So I love raising with small pairs. There you go. Taking a look at the cash win command now on Twitch, guys. Looks like JD so far is up about 1,700. Anthony's also up about 1,700, followed by Brian up just about 13.
Sub, our big loser tonight, unfortunately. Things could still turn around for him, but he has not had the best run out.
He's just warming up. You know, the difference too about Sub versus the other players is that Sub's entire bankroll has been tracked since he sat down, whereas the other players had about an hour to play before the stream even started following. So, I mean, these guys could be stuck too. We just wouldn't know it.
That's so true. I've had it happen many times where there's something like that's going on. But yeah, we've got quite a bit of people that are profitable. Adam, D, Brian, Anthony, and JD, all with over $1,000 in winnings, and EAD not far behind with 735. These are all the players that we talked about being huge crushers before we ever sat down. Not surprising to see them in the profit as of right now, but things can, that's just really one hand. Things can change on a dime. So let's see how this actually continues. We still have almost an hour left of play.
Jeff Gons won. I did see that you gave us a follow. We super appreciate it. We are working on audio all the time, so we will be tweaking it here over the next few upcoming shows. We really appreciate the follow. What else I want to say? Stone's Life Poker with a correction. That's actually Seat 2's loss, not necessarily Sub's loss.
Oh, good
because it's Sub's seat. So
okay.
Sub's not. I was like, I haven't really seen him get involved that much to be down 4K so quick.
I agree with you, but we did. I'm not sure what seat hat.
Seat 2 was originally.
Yeah, was it Bear Hat?
It was Bear Hat.
We did see Bear Hat get twice gets into the rails basically. So he was stacked twice. Those losses are more coming from Brian. We appreciate that correction because I know when I'm on the stream and there's a little mistake like that,
absolutely.
Like I don't want people thinking I'm losing 4K. I'm not losing 4K.
Your friends are watching. They're like, stop. We have to stage the intervention.
But luckily, we've got a team that's always on top of it.
Absolutely. Christopher Concepcion, thank you very much. Also says Sub in seat 2 minus 2.5K from the Bear Hat previously. So, Christopher's keeping track. We appreciate it.
There we go. Now here, what did we got here? JD with the best of it with his king, still good. Brian with the ace 10, he's gonna check, and JD's gonna check behind. He's gonna take down a small little pot there.
Spade it up. Thank you for the kind words. I did try to do my hair tonight. I'm really glad I look gorgeous. Oh,
spade up.
Oh, you were talking to. Oh, cool. This is awkward.
You look great too.
Oh,
I don't want to mess it up.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's nice and
it doesn't move, right?
Yeah.
It is just it's fine.
Solid. It's solid. There's a hurricane outside. The only thing not moving is his hair. It's solid. Elmer's glue, eat your heart out. So we have a little lull here, and I'll just let you guys know to come check out our Stone Spring Classic. This is the huge one that you don't want to miss. We're going to have all the vloggers here. It's 10 days of poker leading up to a $150,000 guaranteed tournament. There's going to be lots of mini and mega satellites for only $60 or $110 starting on Monday, April 16th is when you can get in on those satellites. The main event is going to get started April 19th. That's a Thursday. It's $450 to just straight buy-in to the main. You're going to get 40-minute levels with $20,000 in chips and unlimited re-entry for the first 7 levels. We're going to have some big names here, so come on down, shake some hands, get an autograph if you'd like to, or just chat it up with some of these amazing players like Lex Bell, the host, Jason Somerville, Andrew Nemi, and Kevin Martin, super friendly guys. They'll also be playing on one of the streams in the Vloggers game. It's going to be super exciting to watch. I know where I will be. All right, so battle of the 7s here. Both players here with the 7. Sub currently out kicking and with the straight draw. That's going to give the check mark there to Sub. Little baby pot. Battle of 7s, battle of the kicker. Daniel Farrad says, hey, I'm surprised Peter didn't make a raise on that flop and see what happened. That is the power of position. Again, Peter plays a little tighter than your average player, although he has been finding some different gears lately and changing it up, but definitely a little bit on the tighter end here. But I will tell you this, talking about power of position, that is the #1 thing, though, when I start to teach people who want to get into poker. it's so tough to explain and teach somebody poker because I've had somebody wanted to learn lately and they said, all right, let's play poker. I said, playing heads-up poker is not the same as traditional poker. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like, it's tough for me to try to. Yeah, it's tough for me to try to tell you that like you should totally play King Deuce here when in a full game I'm telling you to like muck that all day and twice on Sunday. Like I can't.
Right.
I'm trying to illustrate these things to somebody, but it's difficult. So I think the best teaching tool now is kind of like why don't you sit next to me? We'll sit here. We'll play an online table together so we can talk openly about what we're doing and why we're doing it. You know, because poker learning is fun, guys. What can we say? If you're new to poker, obviously people play crazy on free poker sites, but the experience though about reading board texture and hand strength and how everything shakes out is all the same there. So definitely hop on whatever free random poker app you want. At least get a feel for where you're at in the hand and what a good draw is versus a bad draw, et cetera, et cetera. Again, learn those lessons for free before it starts costing you money.
Absolutely. Agree more. And Rad Poker, no worries. Hello, how are you?
Fantastic.
Let me get you sit down.
Awesome.
Branch, thank you. Daniel Ferret said, surprised Peter didn't make a raise on that flop and see what happened.
Yeah.
That's the power of position.
That's what we're talking about. I think because he's a little bit on the tighter end, he's like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Hello, Life Insurance Larry.
Love the name.
I've seen Life Insurance Larry in here before.
Again, power position, not surprised. It's Adam's button. He found a raise here, 7-4 diamonds. He's going to pop it up, but you'll notice it's what I like to call controlled chaos. The second he got 3-bet by EAD, insta-muck. And this is what we talked about the other night with a player like Harlan, right? People think Harlan's so crazy, so crazy and all over the place. But at the end of the day, like I said, Harlan, the way I can best describe Harlan is controlled chaos, right? Where he has no problem getting in there with random suited connectors and really random cards and random hands that nobody else would expect. However, with that being said, we also watched him make a fold to a big 3-bet. He laid down ace-queen when the other guy had ace-king. Again, it's controlled chaos. It's not just calling and saying gamble, gamble, cross my fingers. It's knowing when to get away versus when to extract and get in there and just gamble a little bit to try to get a potential huge upside value.
I do. I sure do, Chi-Man. Chi-Man. I'm saying that right. He asked if I played poker for a living.
I love it. Rad Poker 47 says, does he sell life insurance or just have lots of it? That's a good question. All right, where's Larry? We got to mug Larry again.
Both. If he sells it, he's got it. Very important thing to have.
Kasey and Justin, are you pros? Well, unfortunately, that's a loaded question because I think a poker pro would never say, yes, I'm a pro. So, wow, look at that flop for Subi Sub. Flops a Stone Cold Nusky for Broadway here. EAD is all but drawing dead. Literally drawing runner to a chop with another Jack Queen.
Wow.
That's sick. Yeah, easy fold there. Larry, anyone watch Impractical Joke? Do you ever watch Impractical Jokers?
I don't watch much TV at all.
It's true. It is hilarious, though. Impractical Jokers is all the way. Highly recommend.
I am currently. This
What?
is bad.
What's your addiction? What are we binge watching? What are you catching up on? Is it Are we back to Breaking Bad, Friends, Seinfeld?
I'm currently binge watching now the season that has finished Celebrity Big Brother.
Okay.
Because I had a friend that was on Big Brother a couple of times, and I've always been a fan of the show. And so I'm just watching. Now that it's over, I'm just streaming it all the way through.
Awesome. Speaking of Big Brother, you do know Kevin Martin, who we talked about. You know he was on Canadian Big Brother.
No, I did not.
He was on Big Brother Canada, and I don't actually remember. You guys can fill me in who's more familiar. I didn't
Kevin
watch
Martin.
it. Yeah, did he win? Here we go. Hold on. And won.
You said we were talking about him. What are you talking about?
No, yeah, because we were talking about Big Brother.
Yeah.
And Kevin Martin was on the Canadian version of Big Brother.
Kevin Martin?
Kevin Martin is going to be here coming up in our classic, right?
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And
Our
so,
blogger, yeah.
and I think he went really far on that. He actually said he had a great time on the show.
I've actually watched a season.
Oh, he did, yeah. Kevin Martin won his season. There we go, yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. He won the 100K. Not surprised. And again, that comes down to, I think poker in general ups your overall game theory thought process in everything that you do. I know once I started playing poker regularly, like, I never view this game of Monopoly or Go Fish or anything, or Shoots and Ladders, any sort of game the way, I mean, now you're looking for an edge. You're like, why would I ever play it this way? This is the smart way to play it. This is GTO. And you're like, I'm sorry, did you just say GTO and we're playing Shoots and Ladders? Yes. Yes, I did.
So Sub has ace queen. He hits the best of them, but Peter K has the flush draw with the nut flush draw, and Anthony has an open-ended straight draw. So we've got a piece for everybody here. Let's see what happens. Anthony with his straight draw is gonna call the Sub's bet of 160.
Anthony's straight draw is so disguised too. Like if a random 6 non-club peels, like oof.
So now Sub's the top 2.
God, I feel like it's such a setup. And where's Peter going? He's going nowhere here at this point because now he's got top pair with his nut flush draw.
So Sub checks his top 2.
Now this actually kind of kills an out if I'm Anthony here, because a jack now I fear a king now that the ace is peeled. So I'm not really, I don't feel like I have as much value in my hand anymore now when that ace comes out.
So he's inducing a semi-bluff by Anthony here, which Anthony does tend to like to be aggressive and take down a lot of pots using his aggression, which we've seen work a lot tonight. I don't expect it to work here in this spot. Definitely not. But he bets 550. Peter is going to make the call.
It's pretty solid. And now, God, now this is crazy. Now for Sub, you're like,
what
okay.
is happening? Yeah.
The problem is if somebody was opening out on the flop with Jack King.
Peter raised to 1.7K.
Now this
with
is
his
sick.
Flush draw.
Because if you're Sub,
no, he's got an ace with a flush draw. Yeah.
And here's the problem: if you're Sub, you don't want to be the donkey who lays down ace queen when it was way ahead.
Right.
But at the same time, you also don't want to be the guy who just calls off to an obvious like Jack King and you turn the straight.
Yeah.
So
there's very few hands though,
this is
actually sets of hands that are beating you right now. There's a couple of possible sets out there and a couple of straights. But the amount of hands that you're beating is so high. The flush draws with pairs, the straight draws that haven't gotten there yet.
And there's so many straight draw with pair hands, any sort of queen jack type hand. And the sick part is this: I think Sub would feel a lot better about his hand if Anthony had bet and Peter had flattened. Then if you're Sub, I'm just like shipping the farm all day. But facing the large bet and then the super large 3-bet from an extra type player like Peter,
extra type player,
I don't love it. But sometimes you just say go for it. Now he just flats here.
Sub just has. He's beating you so many hands. There's so few pairs of cards that actually
quick fold there by him. Not surprised. And there we go. Now this is sick because it does put that 4-card straight. Exactly sort of hand range I talked about. There's some sort of queen jack out there that would have completed the straight here. This is sick. So Sub checks.
I don't think Peter has it in him to continue here.
No, it was definitely a check.
Yeah.
So.
And he's just hating himself. He's like, this is why I play so tight.
So I'm gonna throw this question out to the chat. So we can see the hands. We know what was going on. If you're Sub there, though, let's talk about this. You have Adam firing 5 and some change. You have Peter making it 1,200 or 1,700 on top, or 1,700 total. I'm sorry. Now if you're Sub and you're sitting there, if you think your ace queen is good, why just flat instead of ship it? And just go for maximum value. If you're going to call me the flush draw, you're going to call me no matter what. If Sub flats there and the club peels, he hates life. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about Sub's move on the turn and just flatting that? I feel like if you're going to be part of it personally.
Exactly how much Peter had behind him, if he would be committed to a call there.
Yeah.
Peter, he might not be, but you could be beat, or if it's a hand that has so much equity that they're going to have to call you off there. There's a lot of river cards that can beat you. Just playing devil's advocate here.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just. I see easily negatives and positives to both sides of just flatting or shipping there. The problem is obviously if you ship it and he snap calls and he flips Jack King, you're like, I'm an idiot. I'm the worst. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think that if you did ship it and he had a big hand like top pair and nut flush draw, you get a lot of value there. Not necessarily, not necessarily from Peter, because I mean he's so tight, you never know. But a lot of players might stack off and call there, and you're good fading a club. Okay, so this is what this is.
Or from a player like Peter, who's
Exactly.
so tight, you get the fold equity where he doesn't hit his club on the possibly doesn't hit his club on the river.
And this is exactly what I wanted from the chat. I love the difference of opinion here. Reed Pro is says I would have shoved. Dondo's like I don't know. If Soup Soup jams, I don't think he ever gets called by worse. He'd be more jamming for protection than value. Paul Letty says against Peter that raise has to scare him a little if you ship it. Chai Man says I would go all in. I mean, it's again, and that's what makes poker so great. It's so subjective. There's so many different ways to play the hands, and you just hope you're on the end of that actually just gets the chips your way.
Right.
Really, that's what it comes down to.
And this time he could have shipped it, and he could have gotten it either way. He was going to take it out. Yeah, Chris Stevens says he was playing it, possibly playing it more conservative to give the option and not go broke on the club.
Absolutely, because if the club deals, you sink into your chair, your heart just like flies. You're like, I hate my life. Oh my god.
It's like different styles of players, and where the streaming you can study these players and really recognize: are they playing more conservative to not go broke, or are they the type of player that's going to take more risks for situations that have some plus EV possibilities for them, and you get some advantages when you actually do want to come in and sit down with these players, which you can do at any time. You can get in this game. We have a list where you can get on. Like right now, we have a seat open.
Which you're actually going to be hopping on this list. Like, trust me, guys. When there's like 20 minutes left in the stream, she's on the list. Like, she's going right over to this table. So if you want the chance to play with Kasey yourself, calm down.
Yeah.
All right, so Brian here, ace deuce on the button's gonna pop it up, make it 70 to go. Oh, JD with the same hand, lets it go. That's what we talked about: aggression, position, same hands. I'm gone. We got one guy raising with it, one guy folding the same hand. So Chris Stevens, I agree with you 100%. This is what we talk about. But if this is tournament, you just jam with ace queen versus cash first tourney discussion, etc., etc. I mean, this is the difference, right? People are like, oh, what's the big difference? It's poker either way. There's a pretty solid difference there between tournament and cash, and that's so much so that that's specifically why you'll get players who do one and not the other exclusively. I only play tournaments, or I only play cash. And they don't budge from that. You know what I mean? I'm somebody who needs to play a little cash to subsidize my tournament losses. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely much more of a cash game player, although I tend to do well in tournaments. I just don't like to play as many of them and cut into my cash game, my yearly. So it's to each their own, and I'm just very comfortable in my cash game.
Reed Pro is, where is the location? Guys, this is Stone's Gambling Hall. We are located right outside Sacramento, California. You cannot miss it. However, if you're losing in our cash game, you can call it Sacramento or Stuckramento, California. We approve of both of those meanings. Citrus
Heights is the suburb in Sacramento that we are in. We're right off of Highway 80.
Can't miss it. It's the same Highway 80, guys. If you live in the U.S., I don't care where you're at, if there's an I-80 near you, get on it and start driving. It might take an hour, it might take you 2 days, but you'll get here, I promise. Always freaks me out when I'm traveling and, Google Maps pops on and says, oh, hop on I-80. I'm like, am I home? What's going on? Oh, no, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm just kidding. Looks like we got a live 20 straddle here from Adam. Master C in the house. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, Master C?
I believe we started putting his name on the stream as Master Chris. I'm okay with that. Then they know the Master C. Then they're like, I get it.
Mr. Chris Glasgow, who I could never forget again.
Again.
I may have forgotten him once. Never again. Once we were in the booth together, it was sealed.
You guys shared a booth moment?
We had boothiness.
Well, now the booth is sealed. Holy crap. Straight up. Look at this, 8 king 10, couple of diamonds here. Subi Soup connects with top pair, and EAD does pink bottom pair.
If you could hit a runner flush, if we just would like to serve him up a nice little turn and river card. Soup Soup bets out 100. EAD makes a quick call. Another king on the turn there is going to give Soup Soup trip kings. It's also going to make EAD think Soup Soup's less likely to have a king. But Soup Soup is one of our tighter players, I feel like. Although he can mix it up in certain spots. I've seen him open up his play. But
Super makes the same bet here all day without a king. That's why it's so polarized.
And now it looks like EAD is going to go with the raise because of that king there. He feels like in many different boards, playing this specific board, he's going to have the best hand.
Now, while this might be music to Super Soup's ears that we can see, obviously, there is still a lot of hands that, I mean, any sort of playable big hand like King Jack, King Queen, Ace King, all beat him right now. So he's still got to, and plus a diamond draw potential. So he's got to stay on the side of cautious. He's just going to flat here, see what the river brings. Hopefully a board pair or 9. Doesn't like to see that diamond. Does complete possible diamonds. I would imagine Super Soup is in check call mode here. He is. He checks over to EAD.
Which I feel like EAD was betting because he thought Soup could either have like some hand like Ace Jack or 2 diamonds, which he did. He thought he had like 2 diamonds. That's why you see the check back on the river, which is why he put in the raise there, because he felt that, in my opinion, if I was reading this, if this was me being EAD, I'm thinking Soup's making those kind of smaller-ish bets, trying to name his own price to be able to see future cards and hit his flush, or possibly a straight draw with like his Ace Jack,
or just
like
pick up the pot right there on the draw, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Pot with the draw, and so that's where he was trying to take advantage of it with aggression. Once Soup calls, he knows there's trouble, and then the diamond peels off, and he's not putting any more money in the pot.
So once again, guys, the Quantum tournament coming down. We already bragged about this before. We only brag about it because it's not a crappy tournament. You guys are going to absolutely love it. So many different buy-in levels. I'm telling you, it's a blast. I played it last time. I'll play it this time. What can I say, man? It's a blast.
Yeah. It's always a blast here at Stones. We're eating, what are these? Garlic fries? Garlic parmesan?
Oh, yeah, garlic truffle fries, guys. And this is like... seriously, if you haven't eaten at Stones... By the way, menu's available the entire 24 hours. Which means, like, when you're in that after party and you're, like, Ubering home, you can just tell them to stop by Stones and get whatever you want here. It's okay.
Heading straight to the gym after I eat.
Straight up. That's why we got that 24-hour membership going on. Chris Stevens, yeah, definitely come on down. He says, I'm more of a tourney guy, and I would love to get down there and get in on that. Absolutely. We'd love to have you, man. Like I said, come down here, say hi to myself, say hi to Kasey, say hi to anybody else you recognize you see on the stream, especially JFK Stones. He's in here a lot. Pretty much, and if it's any sort of big tournament, he will be here. So come in, say hi to the guy in the suit, coat, and jeans.
And the Stones Classic is the one you guys really got to get behind. It's 10 days of amazing poker going from April 13th to April 22nd. It's all going to be accumulating to $150,000 guaranteed that gets started on Thursday, April 19th. But for the 4 days before that, we will have mini and mega satellites leading up to it. Those mini and megas are either $60 or $110. And if you just want to straight buy into the main, it's $450. We're going to have 3 day ones and then the day 2. Again, the day ones, they're 40-minute levels with $20,000 starting chips, which is awesome. And then the main event day 2 is going to be 60-minute levels. I love this type of format. It really gives the best players the best opportunity to win. And it's a $150,000 guarantee with rebuys all the way through level 7.
Yeah, Chris Stevens, I understand that link goes to a dead page. For some reason, YouTube parses web links really, really weird. If you just Google Stones Gambling Hall and then the tournament you're looking for, it will probably pop up automatically through Google. If not, kind of drill down on our website a little bit, you'll find it. YouTube and links, they don't get along too well.
Is this a bomb pot with pocket aces?
Sure is. And the problem is, like we talked about, aces aren't safe to begin with, especially when you get like 8, 9 people in a pot. Master C says, now I'm over here in the chat. P.S. I'm already in Sacramento. Drinks gonna happen. Guys, it's probably gonna be a long night. You heard it. Drinks on Master C. That's the way I interpreted that. Come on down to Stones. You guys love it.
It's Friday night. It's early. Get down here. I'm gonna be playing as soon as this stream ends. Gonna be having some fun.
And it's perfect timing too, because the games get real juicy around here. The alcohol starts flowing right at that 10, 11 p.m. range. Oh, it's like premium witching hour around here. I'm telling you.
Money.
Yeah. Literally, I've been here where people like just walked in because they're like, "Where's the blackjack tables?" Oh hell, I'll just go here, and they're shooting $100 hands at a poker table. No peeky, just pretend might as well be blackjack.
Yeah.
Guys, come on, seriously. I don't make this up.
Wild. This is why moving here, I played at quite a different rooms, not knowing where exactly to go at first. And once I started coming to Stones, I stopped going to all my other spots.
I remember you came here with partner in crime, like one of the first nights you were here.
Yeah.
And we started chatting. Like, where'd you come from? You told me. And I'm like, you probably won't go there much more.
No.
You'll probably be here a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. This is pretty much one of the only places that I go anymore.
Once again, if you guys are just tuning in, this is a 5, 10, 20 no limit Hold'em game. Taking a look at a heads-up pot here between Jim O and Subi Sub. The white chips are hundreds, the green chips are 25s, and the red chips are 5s.
Chris, we have over 20 tables. We have like 22, 23 tables, and he was saying that we do bring in extra tables we have a whole nother side of the room that has other types of games that we can also add in tables if need be, if we get a really large group.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, John Doe, I like your name there because it's Doe, like, you know, like the dough. Anyways, what's the shot to stab ratio at Stones? I'm going to go with 0. We have no shots and no stabs here at Stones. We are shot and stab free. You can mark my words. So that's safe.
It's been very safe. Like, I have seen very little drama here at all. I mean, even when the drinking gets wild, we have an amazing staff here. Not only our production and our management staff, but our security staff as well. I always feel super safe going to my car. And being a female, that can always be a little bit scary, but there's always security at just every door willing to walk me out, make sure I'm safe. And even if they weren't, I feel really safe. We have a covered parking area. I mean, it's just a really great, safe environment. And also, I was going to mention that you guys get money for playing on your Stones Live card. We have readers on the table for every hour that you play. You're going to earn money on that card, which you can use to buy food and drinks. We have a special poker menu that you get discounts on a lot of the yummy food here as well.
Always happy hour in the poker room, guys, straight up.
Yeah, and you get double the money after midnight. So after midnight, if you're one of those players that like to play late in the night, you're going to get double money and just can basically eat free on us after so many hours, and you can't beat the food. There's a lot of people that come from all over just to eat here who don't even play.
Oh, I love it.
So, yeah.
And I tell people that too because they don't get it. Like people who don't gamble, like, hey, come to Stones, get some food. They're like, I don't gamble. I'm like, I didn't say anything about gambling. Seriously, just come here and get some food.
Pizza, like wood fire for your pizza.
The crazy Stone oven, it's all the way,
Yeah, it's like easy.
Yeah, you know what's funny, actually, a little behind the scenes, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell the story, but screw it, I'm going to tell it anyways. When they were first setting up this whole Stones gig years and years ago, and they had it, obviously you have to talk with the city ordinance and everything else, they were worried. They're like, I don't know, man, a casino, we don't want to bring in this crime, seedy, gambler, drug population, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Obviously, we got past that stereotype crap, and guess what? Since Stones came in, crime has decreased in the area by like 40 or 50%. I mean, it's stupid.
It's not surprising to me at all. I think a lot of people who don't know the poker community don't actually realize what a great group of people it is, and something that a lot of people are like, you're around that poker community all the time. The people are fantastic. They're some of the most giving, charitable, nice people that you'll ever meet, and I mean, I just can't say enough. I've made all my friends are now people that I've met from here. So anyway, we're talking it up, but it's all true. So
yeah, sorry guys. Honestly, these are not paid endorsements. I don't care. Here's the deal: if Stone sucked, A, I wouldn't be here, and B, I wouldn't talk about it. So good talk. They don't suck. On to the game. So 2 different straight draws here: wheel draw, Broadway draw. We got a bet by Adam with the bigger draw and a raise by EAD. Not buying it. I love this. This is just battle of the gut shots. Oh, check this. Is so sick. So this actually connects here a little bit with EAD, gives him a pair with the straight draw, but also opens up a flush draw now for Adam. Still, look at those split equity odds. They're like damn near 50-50. And EAD just applying the pressure. Love it.
that's 525.
And EAD's hands gotta look super solidly strong. He check raised Adam on the flop. If I'm Adam, I'm thinking, okay, EAD's got at least an ace, maybe 2 pair potential, maybe some sort of ace-5, ace-jack, whatever. Well, yeah, I can put either of those hands are definitely possible considering Adam raised pre and EAD just flatted.
Yes, Chris Stevens, he was asking, so they should have an option for security to take you to your car. They absolutely do. Security will always always take me to my car, and they usually almost always do. If I don't have a friend, I have a lot of friends here that oftentimes walk me out to my car as well. But on those nights, whenever there's just not a lot of people around, security always walks me to my car, and they will for anyone. I've
never ever seen or heard of somebody asking security for like, hey, could you just walk out with me? Guy or girl, it doesn't really matter. Let's not stereotype here, right? And it's an instant yes. Whatever they're doing, it's an instant yes. Maybe they do a radio call to have somebody cover their spot, but it's always a yes.
Yeah, I mean, people, let's be real here. People come in here with a lot of money and they leave with a lot of money. Yeah. So regardless of sex, it's never a bad idea if you want to feel, you know, ultimately safe. And
Life Insurance Larry, I'm really glad you bring this up. He says, is there another card room in Citrus Heights? I swear 10 years ago I could have sworn I played in a rundown card room in Citrus Heights, which is why, my friend, we now have Stones. So there was actually 2 card rooms in Citrus Heights. There was the Phoenix and there was the Lucky Derby. Both of those licenses got combined to make Stones, which is why we have table games on one side and we have all of our poker on the other side. And so I'm telling you right now, if you ever went to the Derby or Phoenix, not that they were bad places, but they were definitely your neighborhood card room. This right here is an establishment. You know what I mean?
Out. Adam decides to put maximum pressure on, and he raises it up to 1.8K. Now it's 1.3K for E80 to call, and all he has is a pair of threes with a straight draw. Yeah. So you know he's folding here. He doesn't really, he can't, there's no way he can realize.
And he's asking.
He's good. He's thinking about it, but ultimately I think this is some Hollywooding. Because he had bet so much, I think he's got to fold his hand.
Yeah, Dondo, I agree with you.
Unless he just has some crazy sick read on the situation. But even then, he's just flipping.
No, yeah, he doesn't like it. You can see him staring him down there. Dondo says, huge leveling war going on right now. Absolutely. This is, okay, this is what you're repping. This is what I'm repping. Prove it. And wow, it gets through. Great play by Adam here.
Yeah. He says, you know what?
He said you'll see it on the stream, right?
If I'm gonna call here, why not shove? Because you get some fold equity for hands like that. So when you don't hit, when you don't hit, you've got that fold equity. But at the same time, you've got a lot of cards that do come on the river that are gonna make your hand. And so great play by Adam to just go ahead and shove there, put maximum amount of pressure on. You're gonna go with your hand anyway, and you're gonna call that river. Why not?
Absolutely. JFK Stones. Mark down that last hand if you would. I think that would be a great deep analysis hand for somebody like Crush Live Poker. We can really get in there, especially since they had complete opposite side of the board draws. The way the whole hand played out in the betting pattern was really, really solid. See, and that's one of those things where you have to size up your opponent, right? Because, I mean, he knows Adam's capable of... listen. I'm trying to give you a piece of your own because I owed you one. That's what Adam said.
John Doe is just saying that, you know, everywhere in Cali, Vegas, where there's a casino, there's shady people. Let's be real. There's shady people everywhere, all over the place, in every street, in every corner. And so, yeah, of course, there's going to be some of that here. But I just have to say that from being here, I just don't see very much of it at all. Really never, and I've been here for almost a year, so I'm sure it's here. Of course, it is everywhere. Just going down the street, you're going to see that. But they ultimately just make us feel really safe, and they're on top of it. You know, if there's something that's not supposed to be going on here, or someone's loitering, security is just quick. They're just quick to take care of it. So they don't create an environment in which a lot of that can go on.
Lead open, Dave.
It's Jimmers there, our resident dealer. Super good dude, lots of fun.
Pauletti says Sub is back to positive. Pretty respectable.
Yeah, just to down 4,100. Pauletti, just to confirm here, I believe that because he moved to seat 2, he had a couple thousand down negative because of the previous player Bear Hat there. So I think he wasn't quite stuck as much, but yes, definitely on the upswing. Gino. No. Sorry, sometimes you just yell shout-outs from the booth, but they can't hear us anymore now. Now we just smile and wave.
Makes him play more hands, or else he's going to get really tired.
Once again, guys, Veronica and Friends with Vanessa Cade coming up. It's funny, Veronica, when she heard that I was doing the show with Vanessa Cade, she's like, it's messed up, I want to do a show with her. And Vanessa's like, well, I mean, I'm already like playing in your game, you know. I was like, I mean, come on, you gotta share the love, man, all right? People are only in town for so long. We all want to hang out together.
And I think I was supposed to be on that game, but I'm registered, I'm set up to commentate on it, so either way it'll be fun.
Yeah, all right, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, no, lots of fun. And Vanessa, I know that she's primarily an online grinder, so whenever she gets a chance to play live, it's always so like a nice breath of fresh air for her. She's like, oh yeah, this is great. Because normally the only time she's playing live is when she's like crushing like WSOP events or something, you know.
Right.
So it's nice to just come here, relax at Stones, and obviously she loves California. Who doesn't?
Yeah, I can't
Aside from
wait
those
to
taxes
hear
and gas
her
tax.
commentating and breaking down hands. I just love, especially like online players, to really get to hear their opinion coming from the online perspective.
And what I love about too, online players, I mean, they see so many more hands than your typical live action player. I mean, this guy's a live player, this guy's an online player, and the online player's seen 4 times the amount of hands this guy could ever see. You know, because they're multi-tabling 6 games at once or something. It's crazy.
So Jimmo hits the world pair, top pair with the flush draw, but it's EAD who's going to call his bet with the pocket deuces, and Peter K is also going to make a call with 2 overs.
Look at that turn right there. Lots of diamonds. Here we go. There it is. Hold on. Action tracker catching up. Looks like it maybe checked around on the turn too. I think we're catching up here. Hold
Okay, so it wasn't a down on the turn, it was a 4. But Jimmo's still best here. He gets the check mark. It goes check. Check, check.
Yeah, the flop is wrong. I agree with you. Yeah, Dondo, I know. We're catching that up there. Sorry, bud.
EAD was trying to decide if this was a good spot to bet. He realized it was not, and he checked it back. But he took his time to think it through. What is the most positive plus EV situation for me here? Is putting in a raise, can I take it down? Or is it better to just check behind the spot? And he came up with a check, but I just really respect when I see players taking that extra few seconds to put together, is there a storyline that's going to be more plus EV for me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because we talk about, when she says something like storyline and things like this, it's funny because so many players who are new to the game think, okay, well, he checked, maybe I could just bet and take this away from him. Now, on a player that's newer to the game, absolutely you have every chance to do that. However, on more experienced players, i.e. the players at this table, you have to have, whatever story you're trying to rep me on the river, you better have been telling me that story from the very beginning, right? All the way down to the 3-bet and the pre-flop to this, the betting on the flop, the betting on the turn. It's like whatever you're trying to tell me you have now on the river, like earlier we saw a huge 4-bet pre-called and you're like, and now you're trying to tell me you have whatever, like the board was paired with 6s. Now you're trying to tell me you have a 6? I don't buy it. You know what I mean? It's the story has to be congruent all the way through.
Absolutely. Could not agree with you more. Because these players will pick up on anything that is not congruent.
And I'm so guilty. I'm the guy sometimes like, well, I mean, I have to bet it to win it, so I'm just going to try to rep this. And then the guy just snap calls. I'm like,
I mean, you should have started that story 2 streets ago.
I know, and I sit there and I think to myself, like, I would have snap called me too. Damn it.
We've all been there. We all make mistakes in poker.
I'm like,
There's no perfect player.
Yeah.
This is a game that teaches you all about self-love, among other things, because you've just got to move on.
Mm-hmm. Chris Stevens, I actually like this idea, and I will definitely note it here with our production team. You guys should do a stream for like a feature table for when the series comes in, not just the final, but to kind of follow one from early on. I think that is a pretty solid idea, actually.
I do too, and you know what? I would not be surprised to see that happen, because we have an amazing tournament director here, and he is always putting together new and interesting things, and he's always looking at what suggestions people are making and taking them into account seriously. So we appreciate that, Mr. Stevens, and we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, if we always had, I mean, as we're breaking down tables, if we always had at least one table going on the Stones feature table, that would be pretty solid. Not only that, but I know that before these tournament final tables actually get to the final table, we end up streaming the tournament clock. So why not do a little hybrid of both? If we're going to stream the tournament clock, let's stream a table with some random players and let you know how many players are left. So you get a small glimpse of this table, but now you know in the corner there's 24 players remaining. I think it's pretty sweet. I like it. Plus, Plus, if I'm in a tournament and I see like a chip lead or a couple of rock stars who I think I'm gonna have to play with soon at this feature table, you bet your butt that I'm watching and taking notes on that. I'm at a different table completely and I'm taking notes on these guys.
Absolutely, like even as a commentator, I mean, this is something that good players do. As a commentator, as also, you know, I like to come in early, see who's been, you know, the chip leader, how have people been playing wild, so I have a little bit of back information whenever I'm commentating, and that goes triple for whenever I'm actually playing. I want as much, I mean, poker is a game about information.
Absolutely.
Who has it? How can you get more of it? How can you conceal your own information from giving it away? So, always trying to gather more and more information.
John Doe says, 2 rules of poker, guys. Gain all of the information available and don't assume anyone thinks like you. I want to comment on the second rule. I think it's actually pretty funny. Don't assume anyone thinks like you. I think a lot of the times what you're doing is you're trying to put yourself in a player's shoes and say, this is how, what hand would I have if I played the hand in your situation the way that you're playing it? The problem is this, is you get players like, let's use Jake, our other fellow commentator here, for example. Very, very, very deep leveled, multi-level thinker of poker. Like, over-analyzer, crazy deep level of poker. Nobody else thinks like him. Very few other people. So the problem is that he tries to put himself in somebody else's shoes and say, well, I would never play that way with that hand. Well, that's because nobody plays like you, Jake.
Level other players.
You know what I mean? It's really tough.
So super important. I think that's a great point. Leveling up other players who don't have the experience that you have, and giving them too much credit when you really need to be classifying players more as the ranges that you see them playing, and whether or not they're passive or more on the aggressive side. And there's a lot of different variances of that as well, and not necessarily thinking with how you would play it. Yeah.
Because that used to work when like everybody was new and playing poker the same way, but now there's such a wide, diverse spread of levels on levels on levels. You almost have to sit there and level it yourself and figure it out. All right, so Jimmo here does raise with 365, gets 2 callers, and big 3 right there off the bat, set for Jimmo.
The first set that the queens. The queens. I saw the queens earlier, but other than that, it's the first set I've seen tonight. We've seen tons of pairs, big pairs. Finally get to see a set. I love it. I love these little sets.
Baby set, little baby set, and nobody sees it coming. Especially Jimmo fired in a raise. That's exactly what we were talking about earlier. And Adam raised with 3s. It's so disguised when you raise with a small pair, you bink a set. Everybody's always going to give you credit for like 2 random paint cards. You're like, I can beat top pair, or I can beat 2 pair, and you're like, yeah, no, you can't. I win. You guys are the best. Once again here, I think we're coming out. Unfortunately, we're coming down to a couple closing hands, I think, for the evening. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click that heart, follow, subscribe button, whatever the heck it is on your screen. Again, we're here with you at a minimum of 3 times a week, but so much more lately. So we really appreciate you guys. Speaking of perfection here, Subi Sue with Ace King from the hijack. Coming in, making 80 bucks.
Pretty Ace King of Spades.
The highest of all the Ace Kings.
In most all games.
The most noble.
I prefer the Ace King of Hearts or Diamonds myself.
If you have pocket queens, you like the Queen of Hearts, don't you? I don't know. Okay, I'll just take queens regardless.
I'll take diamonds.
Okay, we don't judge. I'll take whatever. I'll take. Just give me like the winning hand to the next really close winning hand, so I get paid.
Hearts first, and then diamonds.
All right, 4s versus Ace King versus Queen 9 to the flop. Ooh, yeah, lots of spades here. Straight draw for Anthony.
What you want to see when you've got 2 spades. Ace King got 2 overs. You got the spade draw.
All right, what do you guys think? 4 spades for blood? You guys want?
Be a jack of spades to give Anthony the straight.
Come on, guys. We want some blood here. Let's do it. Let's chum the waters.
Jack of spades.
John Doe, I agree with you 100%. You can't bring your 25-50 skills to a 1-2 game. Then you're like, yeah, I agree. I could not agree more. It is, so people try to make these like 3-bet bluffs or 4-bet bluffs in a 1-2 game, or this super like check raise monster, and they just don't work because somebody's it's always like, whatever, it's only $100, I call. And it just, you have to be in these deeper stacked, bigger level games to get away with those moves. That's why some people don't like playing as deep as somebody like Adam with 5, 10, 15K, because they don't want to have the ability to lose all that at any given point.
Right.
You have to really be comfortable in your game to say, no, I want to play big stacked because I think I have a better edge in exploiting and gaining value with that money than losing it.
And the second you're playing with scared money, you should not be sitting down at that table.
So true, so true.
If you're playing outside of your comfort level for your bankroll, you need to step it down. There's no ego and pride involved. You know, take your time, build it back up until you're comfortable as looking at these as pieces of power, not money.
Yeah, the whole I'm completely broke, but I'm gonna borrow 100 from my friend to play. Like, okay, look, 1 out of 80 times you're gonna totally nail it. You're gonna totally come back like a beast. But most of the time you're gonna lose it. You're just gonna get stuck more.
We got some people watching the stream.
Yeah. So yeah, Soupy Soup totally chatting about some game theory in the previous hand here. 7-3 deuce, couple of spades, not much going on here. Adam D's 4 is currently the best. And we can hear a little bit of ourselves in the mic in there because they're watching it like, oh God, what did I say? Oh God.
Don't hate me. I may have been wrong.
Justin Carita says, no ego in poker. No, there's only ego in tournament directors. Yeah, sorry.
And that's needed for sure.
Oh, I thought it was a needle. Yeah, it was a needle too, but yeah, it was also needed.
Yeah. You gotta have some of that.
I don't know. Colin and Twee are my favorite tournament directors.
To rule the world. To rule the Stones world.
Man, this will be my last show. I'm signing off now.
Tesla.
It's so funny, Jonathan Little had no idea he'd been photoshopped into like 10 Tesla pictures. I was like, yeah, you know that picture of you and Justin in the Tesla? He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awkward when you start seeing them all.
Master C is so used to 300 bugs plus.
Figs.
That's a lot of bugs.
So many bugs. So many bed bugs. Bugs plus.
Just messing. We knew what you meant. Soup Soup with
look at the aces and everybody folds to him?
Sickness.
Oh, no. Aces from the third big.
So yeah, look at these stacks getting deeper here. Shortest stack just under 5K and Adam with over 12. I love it. Guys, once again, if you're anywhere close, this game is easily going to be running late into the night. Lots of action going on, looking around. I mean, I can barely even see now at the booth, but every table I can see is full. There's some of those cool Stones live hats I was talking about that Paul did. Yeah, come on down, guys. Seriously, Stones is absolutely crushing it in the cash department. Pocket eights for Peter. This has been standard. We've seen eights a lot of times tonight. One more time for us. It's going to be raised to 75. And pocket jacks. We've seen tons of those as well. 3-bet to 250 with the pocket jacks. Soup Soup's going to lay it down. Adam D, of course, is laying it down. Let's see if Peter K with his 8 decides to make the call.
He's thinking, maybe I'm a little bit behind, otherwise it would coin flip.
Set, people.
This is
the hand.
There will be blood. Yeah. Here it comes, guys. Set over set here.
We'd love to see it at the end of the stream. We get set over set. We haven't seen many sets tonight, but when we serve them up, we serve them up cold.
Hot and ready, guys. Hot and ready sets here. Come on. Cold decking it.
Yes. Oh my.
Wow, and Peter, with the retech. Peter, seriously, I'm going to give you the Academy Award here, buddy, but this probably will not end well. Unless we catch running 8 jack, we hit a bad beat. I've been praying for so long here. I'm not religious. I'm just begging for it.
Come on. What's going to happen here? Peter K.
God, and this is so green.
To 1.1K.
You got a guy like Peter here raising you, and you're thinking, like, God, I'm gold. The only thing, and it's sick because Peter's the only player where it's actually running through my head. Can you really have kings here?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? You really
is like, is this going to be the one situation where I'm running up against the nuts? Is that possible? Peter looks like he is golden here, and see, EAD has so much history of just knowing when players are good and when they're made. So I think he knows the suspects that Peter has a really strong hand, but he still thinks I think he's got to think he's the best here no matter what. He thinks that Peter could have 2 pair because he would have to put him on pocket kings pre, and Peter did not play pocket kings pre.
And this is so sick. I feel like I'm watching a car wreck in slow motion. Peter's just sitting there figuring out how we're going to lose this money. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so the actual crazy part is that could I mean, nobody's going anywhere, but that could at least slow things down a little bit for Peter from like check raising all in here.
Yeah, but it makes everybody makes them a vote, so they're like, now if they did have...
The only thing that's sweating is like King Jack. Well, I mean, EAD's not sweating King Jack because he has pocket jacks, obviously.
Right.
He could be sweating lightly King 8. Both players are worried.
With King 8 with that
exactly.
pre-flop. So that hand doesn't really play into his hand, into his thought process, I don't think.
This is sick. This is sick.
Yeah, let's just see how this all plays out. Peter K checks.
Who's this next to you? I've never seen her.
Oh, this is Kasey. Yeah, I'll introduce you in 2 minutes. Last hand, we got set over set right here. Give me a minute. All right, Jacks. Oh, God, what's he going to bet?
That's why we have a locked door.
1.5K. God, if you're Peter, how do you fold here? Oh, God. All in. Snap call. Oh, God. And look at Peter.
This is not Peter.
Oh, God. And Peter just smiles. He knows it. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Nothing you can do. Now, obviously, Peter would be drawing to the 1 remaining 8, hopefully, for quads. And wow, guys, what a hand to wrap it up on. Are you kidding me? Set over set, turn to boat. Dear good Lord. I mean, all the way crazy. Wow. Wow. Okay.
That is a fun hand to end on. What a great stream. I super enjoyed it. All these crushers in the game, getting to see how they play. Getting to my first time in the booth with Mr. Train.
Yay! The Kasey Train Show. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Do it again, hopefully soon.
Awesome. Once again, guys, the Quantum Tournament coming up. It's going to be absolutely epic. End of April. So many buy-in levels. So much potential to just buy in whenever the heck you want for chip leader at your table. Highly recommend it. I'll be playing in it. Speaking of fun stuff, Monday coming up, we have a Stones live episode for you as usual because it is Monday here. It's a 1-2 PLO with Brent and Veronica. It's going to be absolutely epic. I know there's some crushers in the game who normally play a lot bigger than that, so expect that to be a very bloated, fun game. Once again, I am Justin Kelly along with the ever so lovely Kasey Mills. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you Monday.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
See you soon.